all of his friends, and this, he absolutely did not want to go, so he made some kind of arrangement to go live with his dad, and we didn't see him for a very long time. And it's funny because life goes on, and you grow up, and I graduated, and I ended up out in the Bay Area in California. And while I was out there, we just started reconnecting, like, because it was the age of the internet, like that 99 2000 bubble. And he was like, "You should play Diablo 2 with me." And I'm like,
Oh man.
"Yeah." And it was like, I don't know, man. I'm not as
He
much
was
of a gamer,
obsessed with
but
Diablo 2 because he
yes.
always made fun of me for not playing it but playing Diablo 3, and he's like, "You're uncultured. It's
Ah.
okay." He goes,
So
"You're a
yeah.
youngling."
Oh yeah, you don't know. Yes.
You
But
weren't
yeah,
there
so
during the grind.
oh yeah, oh yeah. Like,
Didn't Ithu
like
have
if
a
you
daughter?
did he talk about her? Because I was curious
Yeah,
about this.
he did.
Okay, I
He
don't know
said
how
she's
much
the
of a
same age as
relationship.
me.
Okay, okay. So are you
Ish.
like mid-20s? You got
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm
that might be okay.
23, 20,
Okay.
24 this year.
So I have never met her. I think my mother has met her. And she tried to get in touch with her to let her know, what happened. And but both the numbers that she had for her were disconnected and whatnot. So we got to kind of punt on that and see what we can do. Um, but it was always, yeah, it was the
Yeah.
family drama, on that front of,
He
I think my
talked
mom
about
was,
her.
did he? I think he would have been great, like being involved in her life and stuff like that. I don't know the situation at all. I just know my mom has opinions.
He had
So,
solid parenting advice.
oh yeah, yeah, I heard,
Solid.
yes. All the answers. Yeah, because he would watch my son for me when I would have to go out of town. And my son, when he started, was like probably about 6 or so, and he would just tell me, he's like, "Oh yeah, I've just kept him locked up in the room. It's way easier that way." I'm like, "Yeah, thanks." Yeah.
Duct tape was his favorite thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he'd hear the child of prophecy or
Child of
of
terror.
Satan or you take your pick, just hollering out the bedroom or something. I'm like, Benjamin, go to bed. Like, duct
So
tape would make this much easier.
Solve that, right?
I'm like,
Exactly.
dude, no.
Aether is trying to join, but he's trying to explain to his sister why The Bachelor can't be going full blast in their house. And
Oh my God,
she doesn't care.
Jesus. Hey, Fox,
That's
how's the sound quality?
that's Ithu's
Um, tell you what,
Ithu's
let me mute myself
sorry,
here real quick, and I'll.
did it again.
Cool, appreciate it, buddy.
What is it? Did you know?
I said Ithu again. I referenced this Ithu again.
No. Yeah, there's been so many times. If we're on Ark or something, I did it the other day. I was
Said
trying to
Ithu.
say Nagino, and I was like, Ithu. I'm like, oh, damn it,
Oh.
Nagino.
And the reason we have Scott, I mean, we have Scott, not Steve, is because for some reason everybody thought his name was Steve.
You know what's funny is that my other his brother's name is Steve.
Oh my God.
Everybody
Yeah,
was calling him Steve. Did anybody
that's
try to
wild.
reach out to Hazy?
I did the other day.
I'm not, because me and Hazy were in very close contact when we were trying to figure out what happened to Ithu, and he was really really upset. Um, I think he took it harder than anybody.
Yeah, I sent him, hey man, hope you're doing okay. Just a reminder, the remembrance is later today, around 9. We hope you are doing okay. Sent that at 12:48 a.m. So minutes after midnight, and he, for the longest time, he's been set to do not disturb, and haven't been able
He's
to
been
get
that
a
way
hold of
since
him.
I told him. I only got one word from him when I told him about Ithu, and it was fuck. He, yeah,
Okay,
it,
so so Fox's diagnosis on this on the broadcast that I've got going on right now, which I'll just keep going all the way through until we're finished. Um, Nagino still sounds bean can. Sunny is a bit
Nice.
quiet. You are good as well as Jennifer.
Sunny's trying to be quiet because Sunny's mouth hurts.
Yeah, there's that. Well, she
See,
also she keeps her mic like 10 feet away from her face.
It has sound at points in time that she was swallowing the microphone.
Yeah, yeah. Most of the time we can't get her to keep it away, but then it's like, all right, well, she'll move it, and the next we catch every nose breath that she makes. Like, all right,
They're
need to move it. All right, now we can't hear you. Now it's too close.
so mean.
But the biggest thing is we've both got like relatively sensitive mics on our headsets. So whenever uh whenever I would say something, I've got
Lo
to
and behold, he
I
has arrived.
hey there.
Has
Oh dear.
usually,
Here we go.
apparently you couldn't talk her out of the Bachelor.
No.
Um so so I have to talk at some point. Otherwise, if she's activating her mic, you can hear me twice. But then if she
It's okay.
talks,
Nobody wants to hear from you, Dizzle.
you see what I mean, Jennifer? These two should have known each other a much longer because they act just the same.
Nice.
So,
And she
Aether,
almost didn't let me join the server.
yeah,
He's talking about Ithu, not me, but me and him are a lot alike.
yeah, yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Sunny and Aether have, since the basically the indoctrination of the For All Mankind clan on Destiny 2, um, they have
Aether gets away with
they
everything.
they've become best buds, and they use that against me a lot. Um, and I have to deal with it because one of them's my fiance, and the other one helped build what we have today. So, like, I can't get rid of either one of them. So,
Just
Damned if you do, damned if you don't.
yeah.
gotta take it.
um, so Aether, since you're just now joining us, we're just kind of
Talking.
just sharing some stories before we get started. Um, and we are actually going to be broadcasting. I've already 8 minutes in. I should have started it from the very beginning.
Dude, Ithu was cool, dude.
He
lo,
was.
lo, lo and behold, that stiff ass fool was cool.
I told you I thought I was tickled. Like I said, it was an emotional email, but I was so tickled when you said that you thought he was like around 60.
He
I'm like, oh
told
my
us
god.
59.
He
I
told us
swear he told us.
maybe he thought he was. I don't know. He wouldn't keep track of stuff like that. I would literally have to tell him like, hey, we're going to like mom's house for Thanksgiving, and him be like, that's 3 days from now. So that way, like, give him some context.
How did he gain 10 years?
I don't know.
Did he sleep and just wake up and go, oh, I must have slept for a year?
Or he
But it
started
could
counting
happen.
backwards at some point.
Oh, but Ithu was cool, dude. 80s cool at that.
Yeah,
Oh,
he might have peaked in the
Firebird,
80s.
like
Oh yeah,
built his own Firebird.
hmm
Man.
yeah, he had did snowmobiles and the
It's
he
weird
had,
because he's the same age as my mom.
is, oh my god.
I think my mom, well, my mom's yeah, she's 50.
It's official. Ithu dealt cocaine on the side.
Yeah.
It's the only
It's the
reason why he could be that. I mean, snowmobiles. Come on.
Yeah.
He had a day, is all I'm saying. It wasn't recent, but he had a day.
He
And that was the
still
funny
cool
thing.
one year.
Oh no, he was, yeah. But that was the funny thing about him, like, because I would do his grocery shopping and things like that, and it was funny because like he decided that everything that was around in about 1988 was the best thing ever, and if it
Oh,
wasn't around then, right, then it isn't any better, right? So like when you do
that's
this
roughly
grocery
when
shopping,
he
I'd
was. That's the year
oh,
he was born.
oh is it maybe right?
Wow.
You just slid in under it, you know.
That explains everything.
You
Yeah.
just hit that bar.
But I'll tell you, he was so like particular. Like he like had to be Wonder Bread. It had to be, you know, like the Jif peanut butter. It had to be the like whatever was like big in like 1988. Like he just stopped and said like this is where we're calling it, and you
So
know
he
we're not
never left
trying
you.
anything new after that. I don't know that it did, you know. So
Except for in the computer way, he left you.
Exactly.
yes, most definitely, yeah. In a
You know,
fun fact. Go ahead.
we had so many ideas of what happened to him, but one of the things was we thought his computer died,
Oh.
and we were we were really hoping there toward the end, and then Dizzle found your message, and I guess when you logged on to his Steam, I mean, somebody logged on to his Steam out of nowhere, and I was like, well, it's good to know you're alive, and then I was like, oh, like foot in mouth. That makes me
Oh. Oh my God.
I was just going through my Steam messages and I saw it.
Yeah,
Oh
man,
my
that
God.
thing went like 2 weeks, and you know,
We
and
talked a lot, and
like
Hazy was like
like
right
our
there.
thing was
No.
is like the we were you know Ithu logged out. Eventually logged out. We got up the next day. I think I went to work or something. No, it was Sunday morning. So I got on, and you know I was on for a little bit, and the next thing you know, like something happened to the server, and I was like,
It went
like
down and we couldn't get in touch with him.
yeah, it went down. So I was like, Ithu, server went down. Can you restart it? Like we're wanting to play. And then he never
Oh,
messaged back. And I was like, well, this is unlike
oh,
Ithu. Well, let me go over here to Steam real
y-
quick. Let me shoot him a message because this is what he normally does, is only Steam. And he
Yeah,
didn't
I have to message
reply.
him on Steam for nothing.
So I'd hit him up maybe once or twice a day, all the way up until the point where I sent you an email.
wow.
And it never dawned on me to actually look to see if anyone had actually posted, some viable information about what happened to Ithu. And
Yeah.
Typical Dizzle.
I
typical
messaged
Dizzle,
Aether every
you know,
day.
and
Like,
Oh,
it just so
what's going
happens a week after, instead of 2 weeks after, um, you had posted in there saying that he had passed away and everything, and I was just like, and I'm just sitting here, I'm looking at my screen reading it, and then I read it again, and my son's trying to
mm,
get my attention, and I'm just staring at my computer, and
just trying to
Sonny's back.
process.
Yeah, Sonny's back there trying to, it's like, show daddy what you're doing. I'm just like, I hear her, but it's not registering. I'm looking at like some of the saddest news I've received in at
Wow.
least 5, 6, 10 years, and
Wow.
I turn around, and she just sees it on my face. She's like, "What's wrong?" I was like, "Ithu's gone." She's like, "What?" Like, he's passed away. And she just slowly started getting up. I'm like, no, don't come over. Don't come. Oh, here comes the tears. Thanks. like I just,
Oh
like I just broke
God.
down. Like if it's by myself, I'm okay. But
Right.
but when other
I
people are
find that too.
like
Yeah.
I want to show you some empathy or something. I'm like, no, don't do it,
he's a very
bastard.
sensitive
Don't
person.
worry, Dizzle. I won't ever do that to you.
Believe
Hey,
me,
you
I
know what?
know.
Because he cares.
I know.
It's because I care.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, you bastard, I haven't seen you on in a while.
Parents were
Work
in
and
town. He
school,
had to go
man.
on a date.
Hit.
Hey, free food, free alcohol.
That is the date.
And then I'm gonna date it up, cause free food, free alcohol.
And they take you to a movie.
Sometimes. It's a
That's
good
kind of
deal.
a date.
Oh, Aether dates his parents.
That no, now you're making it sound weird.
That's what you just said.
It is kind of weird.
That's you're weird.
The Nagino has spoken. it is weird because that's what you
Well,
said.
everybody had their theories, but I'm glad that we know it
Um,
all
Now,
come
now,
together.
now, if you want to hear something kind of strange, and I have to ask my husband about this, but I never logged on to his Steam. So,
Oh,
so I know my husband was in the suite and he was cleaning a bit, because there were like things that I wasn't ready to go in and address anything.
yeah.
So he was like a rock star and was like, I'll take this one on the chin. I got you. And was going in and kind of like gathering a few things, and because we needed to get things out like his, wallet and blah 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 and certain things. And so I don't know if he bumped the desktop or anything, because he said he wasn't messing with it. So I have not gone in there to look at his computer or anything. But I was a little weirded out too, because initially it had said like when it shows up like last online so many days ago, and then it reset. I'm like, wait, what? So
Hazy said that it was online for 3 hours. So I
yeah.
talked to Hazy. He was online for 3 hours and then completely
wow,
logged out. Like it didn't even go to idle. It just completely logged
just
out.
That was basically
huh?
the last time that we ever seen or heard from
Like we
Hazy.
thought, like what Aether said, we thought he had pneumonia or something.
Because he had it before, and we remember because he disappeared for like a week, and we're like, well, maybe he's sick. God, why didn't we worry about him then? All the way up to now.
Yeah.
And he came
Mhm.
back, and he just sounded like trash. He was so
Yes,
bad.
he had lost his voice and the whole bit. Yeah,
Yeah, and he
yeah.
slowly started coming back, and next thing you know, he's back to Ithu again, and
Did y'all find out?
Arguing about how Diablo 2 is better than any other game.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Yeah, and that was the thing. Like, so Scott was a bit of a recluse, so he didn't want to go to the doctor. He never wanted to go like anywhere. Like my mom was all she could do to get him to go to her house 2 times a year, Thanksgiving, Christmas. That's when we could like load him up in the car and get him up to her house about an hour and a half away.
I want to
But
be
other than
like
that,
that.
right? I know that. You know what? There were actually times where I would like, because I'm kind of one of those like hustlers. Like I literally commute an hour and a half away to my job every day, and I'm like always working. And I did a single parent thing for a while, and so I'm like constantly going and doing and seeing and blah blah blah. And there's times that I would look at him, and he's like this little goldfish that thrives off like Marlboro menthols and Diet Mountain Dew, and you just sprinkle him on him every once in a while, and he's perfectly content for a while. And I would look at him, and I'm like, do I get it or does he get it? Because he's figuring
I
Oh
think
no,
he
seems like a
got it.
pretty sweet deal.
It did.
right?
He
Because
really
I'm not
does.
joking. Like, because he got a diagnosis. I don't know what it was, but it was something that correlated with the fact that he didn't want to leave. So they put him on like a social security disability. So he caught a check every month. He wasn't like a freeloader. He was like paying his rent and doing his thing. And so he was like he bought his own groceries and his own cigarettes, and he paid a little bit of rent, and I made him pay for the we had to bump our internet up to unlimited because he kept blowing
Yeah.
through the bandwidth each month, and I was like,
Is
dude,
it
that's you. You're
true?
paying
No
for that.
kidding.
Is it true that he had it? Is it true there was an Ethernet cable running from your house to him?
Yes, that was the very first thing he did. Like literally,
He told
we
us
had
that story.
yes, like he was like, nah, we're not doing Wi-Fi, and he literally like from the modem out a window across. I have a historic house, and so it's like across the carport, kind of like just
Did y'all
tucking it
finally
into
pick it
the
up?
roof. What's that?
Did y'all finally like pick it up out of the yard?
No, he had it, and it wasn't even in the yard. Like it was like he ran it from like the corner of the carport to the corner of his mother-in-law's suite. Like it was aerial.
Wow.
And then it
He used
then
to
it stuffed inside his door, and
he used to tell us all the time, I guess my nephew's on the internet.
oh yeah, yeah.
And he would get so mad if he got kicked off. He would get so mad. He would go, I'll be right back.
Yes, yeah. So then he would just come in and he would just like, I
He'd
told
pick him
you
off.
that I'm on right. Because he was a night owl, right? So like when he was on his schedule, he was like up all night, and then he would like go to sleep
Yeah.
probably around 9 o'clock in the morning, and then like I don't know, come
He got
to
me on
sometime around
that
5.
schedule and it was so bad. Because he would log off around 4 a.m. and he told me, he was like, I need you to get this hole fixed in the base before I go to sleep. So I'm literally sitting up with him. He goes, did you get it done yet? No. He goes, get it done. I'm like, I'm working on it. finish the base.
Oh God.
And I was like, he
Yeah.
didn't even have a base. It literally, his base consisted of no walls and only a platform. But he's
Jeez.
yelling at me to get walls done. I'm like, Ithu, you didn't even have any walls.
Right.
He goes, yeah, but you told me you'd build me a base. I said, yeah,
I
God.
do remember that.
but
Yeah.
I've got a 2-year-old.
Right.
She
And
she's
that
literally
2-year-old.
like I drive dump trucks, so I've got to be up before the sun even thinks about coming up, and she's crawling into bed, and I'm like, "What time is it?" And she tosses me my phone, and I'm like, "Oh, it's time for me to get up because my alarm's about to go off in 5 minutes."
Oh
She would
God.
get mad at me because I woke him up 5 minutes before his
Yeah,
alarm. I'm
get
like,
mad.
blame Ithu, rolling over in anger.
What time do you wake up, Dizzle?
Depends on what time I need to be at the asphalt plant or the rock quarry or whatever.
I
Um,
never even thought
I'll
about that. I wonder if I wake up before you do.
there's times where I'll get up at like 4 o'clock in the morning to be
I wake up when you're still asleep.
well, it's 4 o'clock in the morning to be on the road before 4:30, so I can drive an hour to pre-trip a truck for 15 minutes to drive an hour.
Yeah, I have to wake up every morning at 3 o'clock. There's been times that I would stick in there with him, with Scott or Ithu, and I would only get like 3 hours of sleep because I have to be up at 3 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, you know what?
Hi, and you would pop your head in, and me and Ithu would still be at it. Why are y'all still online? Ithu.
Yeah, I'll wake up. I'll take a nap. I'll wake up, and you guys are still on.
Y'all, he doesn't have a job. You know, like he didn't have to be anywhere.
I would
This
be
is
sitting
true.
there in silent anger at Ithu, but I'm like, I'll finish this damn base.
Yeah,
Like
and there
he is the
was
last person on earth that should have been setting the timetable.
yeah, no, and the
It's
thing
true.
is there were so many times where we're just like, he's on so much.
He
What
had
Mhm.
so
what
many
what in the
hours,
hell does
Mark. I
he
want to
do
know.
for a living? Yeah.
And
and
the answer is
and
that.
yeah, and when we came around to asking him one time, he sounded like he didn't sound ashamed, but very like humbled,
Hmm.
and but at the
He
same
was
time,
proud of what he did.
yeah, he was proud of what he did beforehand for sure,
Dude,
Oh
and
yeah.
he was so proud and everything, and at the same time you could kind of tell in his voice of, I don't want to talk about this. Dizzle's gay. Like
Yep.
Let's redirect.
yeah.
he had 3,537 hours on art.
Good lord.
2,085 hours in space engineers.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was his job.
and
Yes.
and
Good
the thing
lord.
and the
5
thing
hours on Terra.
yeah, and and the thing is a lot of people will get their hours from, just loading the game and just walking
Oh yeah,
away.
letting it grind. Yeah.
No, he
Ithu
played. He
Ithu
logged out every
played,
time.
and whenever we all got off, he got off, and you could see him leave Steam, and
Hmm.
and
So that's actual
it is
play.
legit playing. Because I remember when I
Mhm.
first met him, he was just getting into Killing Floor, and I'll be like, "Hey, you want to play some Space Engineers?" He's like, "Yeah, give me a minute. Hold on one sec." All right,
It
cool. I
makes
just killed off a whole bunch of things on Killing Floor. Yeah, I'll be on in a minute. I just got to finish this level. Hour later, like, yeah, man, I just had to keep going.
it makes me sad because he was waiting on Satisfactory to come to Steam.
There was a few things. Satisfactory, Borderlands 3. Because he was like against the man. Like he didn't want to
Oh
know what like
yes.
yeah, like he didn't want
And
to
he
know
loved
what any
Blizzard,
of the big
which is
names.
funny.
Right. That was like the only exception. Like,
Right.
EA not gonna buy
Blizzard's
it.
totally not the man. Oh yeah, he hated EA.
Yeah. He would not touch EA. And he was like, well, I want to play Satisfactory. Well, get it, Ithu. No.
if it was if
He's
it
like,
was
nope.
if it was Blizzard, and if it wasn't World of Warcraft, well, actually, it ended up him not liking World of Warcraft for some reason.
He got banned.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He got
Yeah,
banned from World of
man.
Warcraft, and he wouldn't play
He had
Destiny.
a mod on a different game, for having a mod that was
Quotation
running,
mark.
and he tried to contact them, and they told him they couldn't do anything. I remember this story, and
Oh
he was
shoot!
like, "Well, I'm not playing your games anymore."
Wow, and just
He
like he was
showed
very
them.
principled.
He got
Three,
very heated with them.
No,
3 weeks
like
later, Diablo.
Well, he said he couldn't give up Diablo.
Yeah.
He couldn't do it, and I used to like power level him because I would get a power level from one of my friends, and just Ithu would come in, start a seasonal character, be like, "Hey, can you power level me right quick?" I'd log on the next day, and he would be like Paragon, like 800, fully decked out. I'm like,
And
really,
that takes a little bit
really,
of time.
Ithu,
Like
really?
it's easy with the group up to a point, and then it just takes time.
No, he never played with anybody though. He hated playing with other people on it.
So it
He
took a
didn't
lot of
like it.
time, and he
And then the
grinded that
Gino
out
would
all in
come
a
in
day.
and just wreck everything, and Ithu's like, "Hey, let me get some kills with my witch doctor." And the Gino's like, "Nope."
For a while, Nagino was our elitist and didn't like to be showed up. He's since then calmed down, but then there's Aether who would come in with some other type of character. He's like, I'm getting all the kills, screw you. And that's why you're a bastard. and 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 you would see me, tailing up the back end, just kind of like, well, let me just run through these corpses, collect some gear. Hey guys, I'm dead. I'm
It's candy.
squishy. I'm trash at this game. And
And
then
then Dizzle ends up quitting every game we ever play together because he
because I
doesn't
was
like
garbage,
being so far ahead.
yeah, that they'd be like 3 levels
I told him
down.
all he had to do was get good.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Yikes.
Hey,
Well,
I don't want to say it too soon,
Ithu
but
told him to quit working the corner and maybe he would get somewhere.
yeah, I remember that. But
Damn.
Yeah.
there's there's a couple of people that we used to have that if anyone were to say half the things that Aether, Nagino, or especially Ithu would say, they would leave immediately. Me, I held strong, and
It's
yeah.
actually quite impressive the amount of shit he can take.
He only puts up with you because of me.
And we've already talked about that.
He knows that if he ever tries to get rid of you, I will bring you back in.
It's a moot point
I'll
at that
do it
stage.
at a time when she's asleep, and something will happen. She'll wake up, be like, I feel something's wrong.
Just
Oh, Aether's
distracted.
gone.
Hey, that
Let me
happened
just
the other
resend
night
this
though.
invite.
That happened the other night, and I messaged Aether immediately.
Yeah.
Aether goes, "I'm handling it." I have feelings, man. I have feelings. Oh,
But yeah.
my cat's currently loving on his like original owner.
I'm pretty sure that he would say he's still the owner.
We share custody of that cat. So well, the cat we have hated my mother but loved my stepdad, so I ended up taking the cat because he couldn't stand my mother. So me and my stepdad share custody of the cat, and we're the only two people that he liked. Pretty much. Either did we tell you if there was a cat person?
Well, I knew he was at least somewhat respectable.
Word for word.
He literally wasn't joking when he used to say, "I'm gonna get off and go play with the cats," but he said the other word. He literally would just log off and go play with cats.
It's just Twitch. You can say pussies. It's fine. We
I don't want
just
to
know
say
just
it.
no drug
I don't
references.
like saying
The
it.
camera's off, so if I did have a joint in my hand, it, you know.
Do drugs, kids.
No. Oh,
No.
no, 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 no.
No.
So at the beginning of this, Aether, about 4 hours ago, well, 3 hour, it was 6 o'clock. Um, her little sister, the one that's in first grade,
Hmm.
comes in through the door, and I'm kind of like, um, why is she here? And they're like, oh, well, they're going out, and we're gonna watch her. I'm like, okay. and she had also just took a pain pill because her mouth is starting to hurt because of the tooth that she had pulled. So I was just kind of thinking, and I was about to message Jennifer to get her an invite over here to us. And Fox, you have a fan blowing on your mic.
Oh,
So
yep.
do I.
It
I
It's
hate
hot,
both of you.
bruh. It's
my
To
hot.
be
room is
fair,
the
it
last room
sounds
to
like
get
my
any
room.
form of
Oh,
AC.
yeah.
It is hot in
Yeah,
my room.
your fan's coming up on yours sometimes whenever it's
I
picking me
don't
up.
care.
She's like, I feel good, I don't care.
Fight me.
But yeah, I look at her, I was like, babe, we've got the remembrance in like 3 hours. And she's just kinda like, oh, picked a bad time to do that. And then she was our
Forgot my
she,
weekend.
yeah, and we made brats with
Which were nasty.
which should have been cheesy bacon potatoes, and it just turned out to be cheesy
Fucking trash.
potatoes. And lo and behold, there's a new catchphrase for dare officers. Kids, don't do drugs, you'll forget your bacon.
Bacon's a
Damn.
hell of a drug.
Yeah, and bacon's one hell of a drug.
Hey, I've been cooking lately. I've been cooking. Cooking.
You do wrong.
Yeah.
You don't think you did something wrong because you never cook.
Me? No,
Yeah.
I haven't done anything wrong.
I haven't done anything wrong, nor have I done anything necessarily good. But yeah, she can cook, man. She's she laid down some really good fillets last night with wrapped in hickory smoked bacon, and it was like that, you know, sear it and then throw it in the oven kind of thing, and it was so good.
Aether, I sent you pictures of my steaks.
She's master crafted
Is
hollandaise
that what they
sauce.
call it now?
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
I mean, Nagino would be like, "Yeah, that looks nice, but I'm a vegetarian." He's like, I used to eat that,
He's
but I
not
don't anymore.
vegetarian.
He's
I'm a pescatarian.
Yeah.
pescatarian.
There's a difference.
He's a vegetarian who cheats.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh man, I'm waiting for us to have like that strong like vegan join us, and we're
You
just
mean
talking about
leave?
yeah.
That's what's gonna
Yeah.
happen.
It's like
I'm gonna make fun of them and they're gonna get their feelings hurt.
Oh my god. Wait, what?
It's the increased amount of tofu that's creating a large quantity of estrogen.
Oh.
True story. Men actually shouldn't consume too much soy.
I like soy sauce though.
but you can take
That
estrogen. You're a
doesn't
woman. I mean, I'm not trying to sound sexist or anything, but and
Well,
it
it's true
isn't
with your biology.
right.
Right.
Science, that's how it works.
Satan is asleep.
Oh, you mean your child?
You know what? We found Mr. Bear, okay?
But what has poor Mr. Bear seen?
Man, you know,
Aether has known our child since he was a week old, and since that week old, he has not let the child alone.
there was once a time.
They hate each other.
I hate to.
Correction, he used to love me. He used to think I was dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did call you
Yeah,
dad.
like I don't, I'm sure we don't.
And then you told me to tell him to go to bed, and he has not spoken to me since.
That is true.
You betrayed
Yeah,
your child's
yeah,
trust.
we're stealing Ithu's thunder, but yeah, that moment was quite epic. I was coming home from work and and I'm hearing about it from Sonny and Aether as well, and it was just so funny
Your
because
mom was there.
yeah,
That's funny.
because you just
Aether's mom was there.
because
She
I mean,
was.
they would actually, my son who was just a few weeks and a few months old, would talk to Aether, and next he'd know, he's like, Benjamin, go to bed. And he just fell silent. And then he kind of like yelled at him, and then after that, just never talked to him ever again.
Still doesn't talk to him.
Still doesn't talk to him.
Yep.
Uh, my son holds grudges.
Yeah, like his mom.
You're
Mhm.
right.
And I will never get over those grudges. Dizzle is dying.
I died. I saved y'all. Uh,
Yes. One of these days, I'm gonna try Ithu's methods because he might have the right idea.
a little bit of
Duct
There's
tape.
something there.
little bit of silver tape goes a long way.
He literally goes duct tape him to the wall, and all he has to do is watch TV, and you keep a clean house.
Yeah, yeah. I'd go to work, and I'd come back, and you know, Sonny would have picked up, the floor and everything. Benny would already be in bed, before I came home, and and I'd wake up the next morning. It'd be perfectly clean. I'd go out. I'd come back from work. House is trashed. And she just looks at me and she's like, "Go get your son." I'm like, "Why? What did he do?" He was like, "Look at this." I was like, "Oh, you didn't help?" She's like, "I have picked up this room and all the other rooms at least 5 times today." And the thing is I know when she says 5 times, I know she's telling the truth, because normally it'd be like 5 million times, 50 bajillion times, over
But no,
exaggerating.
if it was enough actual times.
Yeah, she,
Yeah.
and it really got to her. She would say, 3, 5 times, and I'm just sitting there like, why don't you just wait till he goes to bed? and and
You're a mom. You
and
don't like a dirty house.
yeah, and Ithu would be there. He's like, well, you could pick up, and then when he start, ripping stuff out and throwing it everywhere, just duct tape him to the wall, and you know,
Yeah.
and he'll have to watch whatever you want to watch at that point. If he starts screaming about it, a little bit of duct tape right there too. You don't have to listen to him. He won't cause a wreck. I'm like, oh my
He was a
god.
problem solver.
Josh Groban for 6 months.
Yeah, Aether had to
Yeah.
endure Josh Groban for 6 months.
It was the
Hey,
only way to get that thing to shut up.
Josh Groban is currently playing in the bedroom.
Oh my god.
See,
He
if
likes
it wasn't Josh Groban, it was Grey's Anatomy.
He still loves Grey's Anatomy. Oh.
That's because he
Now
doesn't
you know what's
understand what's happening in Grey's Anatomy. That's why.
I don't know, Dr. Grey. She's got that voice. She's
He
got
likes
good taste.
Bailey.
Yeah, he liked Miranda Bailey. The
So
the
he likes strong women.
yeah.
I wonder where he got that from.
Yeah. My mama, you know, no matter what I do in life, I could, you know, launch some huge dollar type thing and have tons of money, and it'll still come down to, it won't be a hit me and daddy will sue. It'll be hit me and my mama will kick your ass.
Yep.
Benny's gonna grow up with the mentality of, if I can't kick your ass, my mama will.
And this is the point where Ithu would call you gay or say something that would make you sound
Yeah.
gay.
He's like, you wouldn't be able
No,
to do it
she
because you're gay.
no, it would be more along the lines of, so she wears the pants and you wear the skirt.
There
Oh,
you
that's
go.
exactly
Yup.
what he would
Yep,
say.
there it is.
I'm pretty
was
sure he
perfect.
said that before.
I think he did. I think he might have said that the day before
I
he
think
passed. I think
I
he got
think
one last
Oh
one in.
gosh.
I think he got a good one in. I think he actually got me like 2 or 3 times
Oh,
the
he
day
tore
before we
you
got
a
off the
new
last
one.
time. Ugh.
yeah.
Sometimes I'd like to think that, he may have known what was going to happen. So in his most friendliest effort, he ripped me a new asshole at least 2 or 3 more times.
Right.
gay.
The gift that keeps on giving, yeah.
Yeah, and I just kind of think about it. I'm like, that son of a bitch got me. and he left me no room to get a word in edgewise.
How has your son been in all of this?
He's been okay. I was kind of trying to figure that out, with him as well. And my son is so mellow. Like I lucked out. Like he is just very, you know, he's always just been easygoing and whatnot. So, I think I was making more of it, because as a parent, you want to you want to be on top of everything. Like, okay, you're not like doing the marijuanas in there, are you? Or putting the heroines in your eyeballs? So, so he's like, no, I'm fine, thanks. But he got along with them. They always messed with each other. It was fantastic.
Ithu talks about him a lot.
Yeah, but they're all so funny, and he definitely got his sense of humor. Like my son is like, and he's got his own little Discord channel or whatnot that he chats up with his friends and whatnot. But he is so quick witted. Like he's 16, so he's pretty much grown. He's getting ready to be
Man,
17.
he's the same age as Durkee.
But yeah, they would go back and forth, and like I remember one time, oh my gosh, so I told you we have that black cat Krampus. Well, that is the most food motivated little shit on the face of the planet. Like
Aether's
he
cat.
Right. so so my son was trying to like do this little and like I don't know what they were talking about, but he was like gonna make a point, and he's like, all right, well, I'm just gonna go upstairs, and he does and I'm taking the cat with me. Right. So he starts walking up the steps. And just to mess with him, like I go and I get his little treats, and I just give a little bit of shake, and all you hear is ow, 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 because he just turned into the Tasmanian devil, right? to haul ass back downstairs. And I look over, and Scott is crying. Like, he's like
Oh my
on the
God.
floor. He's like, you held on to the cat.
That sounds so much like.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And it was like all the time, like there was this constant comedy around here. Like and that, our family is, we're close, but we're not close. Like we're close in the sense that, we care, but at the same time, we're just like, we are also each other's worst enemies, right? Exactly.
Yeah,
What do
sounds
you
like
want?
my family.
Right. But yeah, so you're talking about games and stuff like that, or ways to babysit your child and such. And he Scott moved in with me. Well, like I said, to the mother-in-law suite when he was about. When my son was probably about 6 or 7. Like I said, he's almost 17 now, and so he would come home after school, and he wasn't old enough to sit in the main house by himself, and Scott still wanted a game. So what he figured out he could do is he would have my son come over to the suite, and he'd be playing World of Warcraft back then, and he apparently hated fishing because I guess it's like a tedious dumb task.
That's what he got banned over.
Yeah, he's botting.
Yes.
Is it really? Well, what he started doing was he would have my son come over because he's like 7 years, he's just excited to be playing a game. He's like, you can fish, and my son was like, all right. And so he literally would just put him to work for him.
That's brilliant.
For like hours. Yeah.
You gave Aether an
Wow.
idea. You gave me an idea.
Oh
I
my
have to
God.
To be fair,
re-examine this whole thing about having kids. Can you
Right?
do the little tedious bullshit?
They're like little bots.
No. I want an actual child, not the spawn of Satan.
So many,
Look who his grandmother is.
we live up in North Carolina, and Aether lives down in Louisiana, and so many times we've offered, if well, I guess we've offered up his services to watch our kid, and he's just like, hell no. Not the spawn of Satan.
Oh my
No.
god. That
Let me put this in context. I used to babysit the kids. No one else would.
And you still wouldn't babysit this one?
I had a monopoly on a very lucrative market.
Oh,
Nice.
so Christmas, I made a bunch of fudge. Like when we were talking about that, it made me think of one of the last things Ithu yelled at me about. I made a bunch of fudge for Christmas, and Dizzle was telling him like I was making fudge to pass out to all his friends. He goes, "So when will I be receiving mine?"
And you know what? And the thing is if he would have given us an actual address, we would have sent him some. But his response was, "Just send it to Florida. I'll find it."
Oh.
He was a very private person, but he loved to talk about his family. But at the same time, he was very private.
Yeah, God, dog.
Oh.
He was definitely one of the most private people I've ever met.
I
And
wondered how he was online. Yeah.
yeah,
It took a lot of hunting. Like me, I would message Aether every day, giving him possible names. I
Oh.
literally did.
We found one
Oh,
guy
so
we
you
thought
didn't
was
even
him
know
who
his
had
first
died,
name. Oh my goodness.
yeah.
and
Well,
then we were like, Sunny was like, "Oh, this might be him. He's about the right age." Oh, never mind. He got shot by the police.
Oh.
I was
Not
like,
his
"Oh,
MO.
good. It's not him. It's oh, good.
Oh
I
That
mean,
would
not
be
good for
part
him,
him
but
well,
trying to
and
Right.
house.
and the thing is ever since I started playing games with him and everything, I thought he was close to like 60 because I mean,
He
hi-
definitely sounded like he was
he,
mid
I mean,
fifties.
he sounded,
He
you know,
told us
his
he was
Those
about to be
cigarettes.
60. Oh, I used to smoke. I
yeah,
understand
I mean,
completely.
his
You
voice,
would hear that Zippo just open. You'd be like, well,
yeah, um,
and then you
Oh
wouldn't hear
yeah.
from him for like a minute as he just like pulled on that cigarette. And I'm like, "Good lord, how do you have the lung capacity for that?"
oh
Oh, you want
man.
to hear something great? There's also no smoking in the mother-in-law suite. So yeah, we'll see
Oh
how long. And he would sit there and try to convince me. He's like, "What? I'm smoking outside." I'm like, "The hell you are! I have
no,
never
he
even seen
never
you
did
outside." Right. Oh yeah, yeah. He
if
was
you're
not
Busted.
smoking outside.
if you're smoking outside, why is the smoke coming out through the windows?
I hope you weren't too hard on him about I
No.
know you probably were like, I don't want it in my house.
That's exactly it, So, but yeah, let me tell you, not only because I haven't gone through everything in there, but I have gone into the suite, and I'm not even lying. There is like nicotine fuzz on shit.
Oh,
That you're just like, not only were you smoking, you were smoking all the time. So,
Ithu's looking at us right now, going, "Oh man, I've been caught."
Not my problem.
I was just
I
about to say,
right?
definitely not my problem.
Yeah, he's just chuckling. He's like, yeah.
He goes, "Now you gotta clean it up."
You're right. That's exactly it. That's your problem now.
I said something to Dizzle last night, and I was like, and he just kind of looked at me. I said, "Oh man, that's something Ithu would have said." Oh,
Oh man. Well, we are about 9 minutes till. Um,
I don't know if anybody's gonna show up.
yeah.
Anybody?
I mean, if they do, they do. If they don't,
We keep
we've
talking
yeah,
if you want to.
we just keep
That's
talking.
fine.
It is what it is. But before I start dropping us down into the town hall channel, so as you already know, we have given you the role of honorable guest.
Man,
Um,
you should stay. You cool people.
yeah.
Well, thank you.
You know, Sonny's said it to me before at some point, and I thought it was my idea earlier today while we
All
were
your best ones
well
were.
yeah while we were shopping at the Harris Teeter. Um, but for all mankind, we're not just a brand; we are a family, and you are part of our family through Ithu.
Oh,
Um,
thank
and we would love for you to stay. Um, and you know, if you see us on, feel free to jump in, chat us up. If we're playing a game that you play, or if we want to play a game that you're playing, we expect you to let us. Um,
Ooh, like Stardew Valley. I've been playing Stardew Valley a lot.
you. Well, what's funny is that so the Steam account was initially mine because and I'd had it from I guess
Had
way
made
back
it very
when.
difficult for us to find out who it was too. And the Blizzard
Oh
account
yeah, no
wasn't his.
shit.
yeah.
Well, like, so I don't game a whole lot, but my son does. So, but he's been doing it since he was young. So what he just did was just adopt my Steam account. And then I hadn't thought about it for the longest time. And then I had to go back in there to kind of like, post about Scott and do a few other things. And I'm looking and like my son's got it all changed to where it says not Keone on there. My son's name is Keone, so he thinks it's clever that his that his usernames are not
Very, very
Keone.
16-year-old.
Right.
What happened to
He's
just putting
feeling
X
that's
on
online
both
safety.
sides?
What's that?
What happened to just putting X at either end of your username?
Mhm.
No,
My
no, no. He
sister
figures
still
it's
does
online
that.
safety. Like if you say it's not Keone, it's like a red herring. You're like, oh, this obviously is not Keone. So we don't know who this guy is.
He thought he
So-
was hot shit.
so he's been like, oh, and he's like, can you get your own Steam account? And I was like, I have one. He's like, no. Get your own Steam account. He's like, I'm getting all these requests now, and he's just
think
like,
I
you need to
added
get your own account. I'm like, this is my account. He's like, but all
I
my stuff
added
is on
you
here.
on Steam, and I added your son because it's not Keone.
It's not Keone. Yeah. Which is fine. Like I said, you could totally mess with him. He's a cool kid. Like he's.
Challenge
Yeah, we'll have to
accepted.
bring him on one day.
He probably
Yes,
added me
please
because my
do.
name is Kakashi, and it's a picture of Kakashi. So probably didn't even think I was your friend.
Oh.
Probably thinks you're some 16-year-old girl. Because
Probably.
who else likes Kakashi?
Well, you know what? That is my husband, and you can't talk about him like that. Talk about Dizzle.
He'd rather not.
Yeah, that's too easy.
Oh my god.
You are more than welcome to stay, though. We would love for you to stay.
Well, thank you. Maybe I should start getting into gaming again. I don't know. We'll see.
Were you able to save Ithu's account to see if you could get back on it?
Well, so yeah, what had happened and what threw me is that when I put Discord on my laptop, it just auto logged me in and it said Ithu at the bottom. Like, what?
Yeah.
And I guess what it must have been, it's not his original account. I guess it was just something that the server, what was the server? GTX Gaming. I think that was the only channel that was on there was the GTX Gaming one. So I don't think that was his original. Because it was associated with my email and not his, and his email was like a PvP nut at Yahoo, and I got to play with that to see if I can figure out what the
Yeah. You're
password
probably gonna
is.
have
And,
to get on his computer and
yeah,
like,
and just
go through
hopefully
it.
he's auto logged. Yeah, I'm hoping he stays with those passwords there. But there's a ton of like scraps and notes all over the computer, so maybe passwords and stuff. Hopefully,
Yeah.
we'll see. But I haven't kind of been ready to jump into that yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's of all the things, it's ironic that like the computer would be the most personal for him. So I just like
Yeah.
it feels like such an invasion. Like I haven't
And
gone there yet.
it's on your own time,
Yeah.
and it's when you can handle it emotionally. Because I know there's gonna probably be like a lot of stuff from everybody. Just
Yeah.
like ask him if he's okay. Because he did have a Discord, and he had like his own little stuff and everything, and he had a lot of people. He really
Yeah.
did.
Wow. And then of course there's all the porn to sift through. Like God, I
Oh,
didn't know
yeah.
space. Like
I didn't want to go there. I really no, no.
Oh, Sonny.
No,
Um.
Aether,
So
not
naive.
now, not now.
All right. So
Oh, Booge is in town hall.
yeah. So they're starting to gather in there. I've got up. I'll switch back over to it. So you'll be able to see it in the recording.
Should we move down?
Yeah. Let's go ahead
Yeah.
and jump down there, guys.
all right.
I'll move.
There we go. And we'll do.
Everybody's here. Oh, we gotta unmute everybody.
There we go. And that should do it. There we go. Jennifer, the guy above me, Bujanmar, um, if it wasn't for Bujanmar, I never would have known Ithu.
Aw.
Um,
So
it
None of
was
us would have known him.
yeah. So
Yeah.
none of us would have ever known him. You can
That's awesome.
yeah, you can find it in the memorial. Um, Bujimori had done up a thing talking about a stream that he was doing of space engineers, of course, and of course, Ithu would have found that. Um, and I even mentioned it in the one that I have. Um, and yeah, it was good times. um, but yeah, so what we're gonna be doing, guys, and I guess I'll reiterate if more end up joining in. Um, if Jennifer wants to, she'll say whatever she wants to, and then I guess we can kind of do a top down. Um, we've been spending a little bit of time just trying to break the ice and everything. Um, and
Everybody comfortable.
yeah, you know, get some laughs in because it doesn't always have to be sad.
Yeah.
And
Because
But
that would be gay.
yeah.
Just channeling my inner Ithu there.
Right.
Someone had to say it.
you say that regardless.
I do not. I am
That's
not homophobic.
that's because he channels his inner Ithu all the time.
um,
Well,
But
something you weren't doing, he didn't like. He definitely let you know.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yes, he would.
I
damn
could
straight.
definitely respect that.
he called you a little shit, Aether.
I know.
And that's why he can respect it.
He literally
I called him an old
Aether.
son of a bitch, so.
That's how it all happened.
And
you
lo
know?
and behold, he wasn't even that old.
And
And
then a relationship was born.
um, yeah, hell, what was it? So what I was thinking is, Jennifer could say what she wants. We'll go through those who are visiting us and such. Um, you guys can say, whatever. Hell, if you want to read what you posted, you can add a little to it, whichever. Um, and then if we all, solo want to say something, we can. And Jennifer, if you want, you can end it with whatever. Um, kind of like a open mic night and a remembrance of Ithu. Um, but I think for the moment, want to just moment of silence and kind of reflect to ourselves on Ithu.
I'm gonna mute my mic then.
Yep. God damn.
Hey, Hazy.
Hazy, you've made me worry about you, man.
I've been really worried, Hazy.
You worried about me?
Yeah, you've been gone for a while.
Like you caught the bad news and we've been trying to reach you, man, and nothing's come out of it. Okay. Well, we were just kind of doing a.
Someone's messaged me back and forth. I mean, I don't know. Nobody else has messaged me, so I don't know.
Oh, I sent.
I missed.
I sent you a message.
Oh yeah, on
This is
Discord. Okay,
Oh,
yeah. I don't
oh
know.
man.
Oh,
another Ithu. Oh
God.
my god.
Hazy channeling his inner Ithu too.
Hey
This is
man, I
Ithu's
learned from the
sister.
best.
Yeah.
Jennifer, this is Hazy. He was a longtime friend of Ithu, and Hazy wouldn't be here without Ithu.
Yeah, pretty much.
We were just
It's very
actually
nice to meet you.
we were just doing a little moment of silence and remembrance, and honestly, that was probably the worst thing I could possibly do because I just started like everything just smashed me all at once. I'm just kind of like, damn it. Um,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna try to keep my cool a little bit. Um, wow, Jennifer.
I'm here, guys.
Oh, God, hello.
I'm a little tipsy right now just because
Yes.
I'm not 100%, but yeah, I'm not really gonna say much.
Okay,
You're
that's
fine.
not a.
I am high, so we are great.
She had a tooth pulled, so she's on pain meds. Which I mean, in hindsight, hers is a lot, you know, not worth bragging about, but you know.
Yeah.
um, but yeah, we were just doing a little moment of silence, remembrance of Ithu. Honestly, I was thinking about having our music bot jump in and maybe play something kind of thing, but I can surely believe that Ithu would probably haunt me in my sleep and call me gay for the rest of my life for doing something like that. So I decided not to
And
do that.
he hated that music bot.
Yeah.
He would have given you so much shit about that.
You know, and the thing is, you know, Josh
Like
Groban,
me, you
Josh,
hated the soundboard.
and yeah, and you know, and Josh Groban's got some really good like "We Miss You" type
Don't
songs,
you even fucking dare.
and there's that right there. You know, I would have gotten shit from two people, one in the afterlife and one now, and that would be
Because he
way too much
played
for me.
Josh Groban at my remembrance, now haunt you.
You know,
He was cool. 80s cool.
I would drive to North Carolina to kick your ass for him.
oh
Yay.
I
man,
got vacation coming up.
Come visit.
yeah, come visit, man. You,
No, I'm gonna go to England instead.
That sounds like a trip. You're gonna watch your
Fair
kids.
enough. Fair enough.
yeah,
I
if
got
you
you.
come here, you're watching Benny. We're leaving.
I mean, do you really want to go to North Carolina?
No, I
Really?
lived there for a year. I don't ever want to go to North Carolina.
So for those also just joining, uh, Jennifer is Ithu's sister. Um, we've been talking to her for a little bit, just trying to get a feel for how we're wanting to do this. Um, she's basically she's basically agreed, not by force or anything like that.
Reedy, is Griff coming?
Brief.
He's in bed.
Oh, okay.
Griffson.
Yeah, it is late.
Yeah, it's super early for Rini.
Yeah.
That's
Hello,
true.
Reenie.
So
Got bad connection, Reenie?
Yeah.
oh dear,
But
yeah,
yes.
She's in Australia, Jennifer.
Oh wow.
he had
Yeah.
friends everywhere, mostly in the
Gee,
U.S., but everywhere.
Yeah.
that's cool.
um,
Where there's Iokum, he's in Canada.
yeah, Iokum
Yeah,
is in
Iokum's
Canada.
known him for
And
10
we've got
years.
at least one guy in Europe.
Yeah.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
yeah, Iokum works a night shift, so he's not able to be here with us today.
But
But yeah, he
we
has
learned he's known him for 10 years.
Wow.
yeah a lot longer than most of us here.
Yeah.
Wait,
um,
no, he said he knows Boosh for 10 years. He's known Ithu longer than he's known Boosh.
was it? Yeah.
Yeah, because
Uh,
Ithu
Yeah.
introduced him to Boosh.
no, the way I met Ithu was through the stream, which then Ithu introduced me to a bunch of people.
Where you met Iokum?
I've met him, but not like Ithu's met us.
Well, he said he was in your World of Warcraft guild.
Oh yeah, he was.
Yeah, you invited him to your World of Warcraft guild and y'all became friends and stuff. That's so sad. You didn't even know him.
I didn't really play with him. It's 800 people in there.
Well, apparently you made a lasting impression. Feel good about it.
Yeah.
will say one thing.
The last few
There,
days.
there was a point when I was this was about 2 summers ago. I was one second. I was he really hated all the mods I would add to my Arc server. I mean, I heavily model a lot of my stuff, but he did actually enjoy some of the stuff I was adding because of his presence. I was at least trying to keep it at least somewhat vanilla. But and then
You
at one
mean
point
less
he's
than
like,
20?
and then at one point he had me up to 50 mods because he's like, I really like the mods you're adding, and I'm like,
Okay, I
It's
think
like
I'm
giving a
stable
crack
now.
addict more crack.
yeah.
All the crack, but remember, drugs are really vacant.
It's a new
Freaking
inside joke
killed
for
me,
some
though.
of us.
Because I'd be like, okay, Ithu, I think there's enough mods on the server, but wait, you added some really good mods. Let's try this one.
He loved mods, but not quite like Nintendo.
I'm
Nintendo
like, what
loved
are you
all the
doing?
mods.
I'm like, what are you doing? You're gonna make the server bog.
Have pity on the new players to the server.
Yeah, God help anybody trying to join.
Yeah, they join in their. They
10
join
years
in,
later.
They join and their computer just goes.
Nothing quite like Griff's Minecraft server.
What,
I
the
think
200?
my computer glitched and then
Yeah.
shut off.
Yeah, Sonny's got a
Tilted.
Sonny has a very good gaming laptop, and every
Oh,
time
Jesus Christ.
every time she'd get maybe halfway through the mods trying to get it initialized and everything,
Go.
it would dump in blue screen. And I'm just sitting over here with my really nice rig. I'm like, I don't want to do that to her.
On that note, anyone is welcome to join my Minecraft server I've been building. It's public.
Yeah,
It is still unstable right now, though.
Oh,
Keep adding mods.
thank you, Reedy, for telling me
The
that.
warning.
No.
Well, no, its instability is the fact that I'm still bouncing and adding new mods.
There's radiation.
And and Jennifer, when we were talking about trying to reach Ithu when we didn't know that he had passed, about the Arc server, it was the client that he was going through was really unstable as well. And it would go down, and he'd just be like, "Oh, I'm trying to fix it. Fuck bullshit. Nah." And then it'd come back up, and he was like, "Oh, it's up. Okay, cool." so when it went down, we're just kind of like, "Hey, the server went down again. Can we get a can we get a can we get a leg up or anything?" And there was just no response. And I'm like, damn it, man, respond to me. We're wanting to play some Ark.
And then somebody logged onto his Steam, and we were like, all right, now we're a little mad. Are you there or not?
What's this crap about you being on for a couple hours and didn't say anything to anybody?
Yeah, that is such a weird. Yeah, I have to look into see what in the world happened there. I don't know. Like I said, that we weren't in the suite. I mean, my husband was cleaning it up a little bit, but I don't think he got into the computer. He didn't
It
mention
was the
it, so.
ghost in the machine.
Yeah, right. He had to get had to collect a few more things and then get out of here.
Yeah.
The best part about all of this is when you described Scott, it's exactly what we thought he looked like. And he lived off of Mountain Dew
read
and
that.
cigarettes.
ZZ Top Beard, Mountain Dew, and
Yes.
cigarettes, and I'm like,
Yes.
yeah, sounds right.
He joined, somebody say something stupid, like, what the fuck is that?
So many of us in here were easily saying that, oh, I could totally see that. All I could see was some like older guy playing some damn video games, flipping a Zippo and smoking some cigarettes.
But he
That
told
is,
us he was about to be 60.
yeah, he told us he was about to be 60. So when we got worried enough we got so worried enough
I
that,
looked up obituaries. I'm sorry, I'm
yeah,
morbid.
Sonny went morbid, started thinking the worst because it had been
Ether talked me out of
Yeah, it was a week and a half, and so she started looking up obits, and we're like, all right, we know he's in Florida, and we know he's about 60 or about to turn 60. So we're looking up age range about 59. There was a lot of people who passed away in
There's a
Florida.
Right?
it's fucking Florida.
It's Florida, right? As it turns out, there's a lot of old people.
I looked at 300 obituaries in Florida. I am
Oh,
not joking. I looked through all of
And
them.
and the
oh
thing
my
is there was
gosh.
one, you let us know that he was that he welded and stuff, and I was like, did he say that? This obituary is 59, decent looking guy, um, and he
But it
built
didn't look like
and
it
he
looked like
yeah, it didn't look like an Ithu. It looked like a Scott, but his name wasn't Scott. It was like David something,
yeah, it was
and he was
That
like
was the one who got killed by the police.
yeah,
yeah, that was the one that got killed by the police. The other one was the
but
one that got killed by the police
but
for
I was reading that this guy built cabinets and stuff, and he thoroughly loved doing that. And I was like, God, I knew he had a passion of doing something. Was it building cabinets or something else? Lo and behold, it's not cabinets at all. He was a welder. He loved working on cars.
Lo and behold, he was 49, not even 60.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so 60,
But y'all missed the
50.
part where
He just
Jennifer
rounded
said
up.
he might have forgot.
Yeah.
Or he just felt like he was 60.
We need you
Yeah.
to repeat what he looked like in high school. We
Oh.
need you to do
All
Th-
right.
This
So
is
I was telling the.
this is for the record is currently going international right now. So
Oh, all right then.
You've got Australia over here. You've got England somewhere else.
I've ruined that my flag.
if we get a million
Awesome.
people who joins my Twitch stream right now, they're gonna hear this too, and it's gonna be there forever.
Awesome. Well, I don't know if your 80s were like our 80s, but Scott, in his heyday, when he was, in his late teens, he was the like quintessential like 80s, cool guy. He had like the feather haircut, like which is technically just a mullet with like a wave, right? And he had like the handled comb in the back pocket. He, I did remember seeing him in parachute pants at one point in time.
dance on
But
cardboard.
most, yeah, he
Oh
danced
my
on
God.
cardboard. He had a red line BMX bike where he could do freestyle and like swing around the handlebars and stuff and hop on the wheels and do that bit. He was a roller skater. He speed skated, so like that was really cool.
Oh, I
Loved his
miss
rock
roller
and roll.
skating.
Yeah.
It's the best. It really is.
Yeah, and the thing is those of us who go to a roller rink now, we're gonna be like, damn. Hopefully I don't fall. Ithu's gonna laugh at me.
Careful, Diesel. You go rollerblading, you might break a
I mean,
hip.
You might
I'm
be
an
right.
80s kid. I'm an 80s kid myself. I grew up in the 80s. I remember roller rinks. We no longer have one in town because people stopped using it.
Ah, they were such a great place, though.
I worked
Oh
at one.
man,
Yeah.
did
I
you
worked at
really?
one. I was a speed skater. I worked at one. I have a passion.
Yeah, he had. I remember he had the Zinger wheels. That was the wheels that he had to have because they were the
I
grippy
had
ones. Yep.
those.
Yeah.
Oh,
God,
Yeah.
look, you could have been so much closer to him, but you had no idea.
Yeah. Yeah. It could have totally bonded. Again, like I said, if it happened before like 1989, he was on it. He was that was his time. He would love to talk about anything about that.
he was stuck in
Um,
the 80s.
Yeah, and it was funny because my mom, who we had grown up with a host of uh, station wagons. We even had like the Burgundy boat with the woodside paneling. The
Oh
Oldsmobile one.
yeah.
Yeah. So at one point in time, my mom, when he's a teenager, he had turned like 16 or something like that, and my mom needs to get a new car. She goes to the Pontiac dealership. She had turned in like a J2000, which if you're not aware of what a Pontiac J2000 is, it's like the sportier station wagon. So, but she had turned it in, and somehow because Scott was there, I don't know what happened, but he worked some kind of magic on her. She came home with a 1987 Pontiac Firebird with T-tops.
He
And,
could
Wow.
talk people. He really could.
yeah,
The
yeah,
extra
and
space came when you take the roof off.
right. And now the funny thing is, we were still like a family that did sportsy shit and had to be driven around town. So I think what he had promised my mother was like, pretty please, God, pretty please, get the car. I will do whatever you want. Just get the car. And so, um, as part of that, like we'd have to go, we played sports and softball and soccer and all these different things in the YMCA and had to be driven all over God's green acres to do all of our different things. But now I'm 6 years younger than him. And when you're 16, your 6 year younger sister is not cool to have in the car. So I'm telling you, like half of my childhood was spent slouched down in the seat of a Pontiac Firebird with my head against the speakers so I was not seen, and him blaring fucking White Snake. Here we go again, some Tawny Katane shit. And I still remember that whole friggin' album on cassette, of course, because he would just blare it and act like he was like single man about town while he was driving his sister to fucking softball practice.
He was cool.
He was so cool. He did donuts in the parking lot, lost his driving privilege, his parking privileges at the school. But yeah,
We
so
gotta get better
eventually,
tires. These ones just wear out too quick.
yeah, he's very opinionated about his vehicles. Definitely a Chevy guy.
He's opinionated in general.
In general, yeah, you stop there, right?
Did you see? I win.
I'm a Chevy person too. I get it.
Yeah. So, yeah, he eventually bought his own Firebird, but he got like a 1979 one. So, like one of the old style, like Burt Reynolds, like I think it was even like the Trans Am, like with the bird on the hood and the whole bit. He was a character, man. But at one point in time, he had a big ass GMC Jimmy, and I don't know if he ever talked about his Jimmy, but well, not like that, but the car, the truck.
Maybe both.
Right, maybe both. But he had like these. It was one of those like where you had to like clamor to get in to it. Like he said that he liked driving it because like basically everyone only saw his bumper in the rearview mirror. Like it was that kind of big. Like if he were living in the South, we would call it a rednecky, but like
The Bronco.
yeah, he was like, no, you can't bite your tongue, man. That's a Ford, right? This was a Jimmy. It's a GMC, man. So it's a world of difference. So even though they're technically probably big back.
He probably would have liked to get a Jimmy Typhoon. I saw one of those.
What's that? I don't know. Maybe probably would have. His was like, yeah, it was some. I don't know. It was like huge with the KC lights and stuff. Yeah, he loved cars, and it was funny.
Fixing up somebody's car a lot.
Mine. So this is.
He said
So
that
this
you
is.
were horrible with cars.
Yes, because I'm like, bitch, you will get me there, or you will die trying, and many times they die trying. So to which I'd have to call Scott and be like, so I'm on the side of the road. I don't know what happened.
So you're the one that he compared Dizzle to when Dizzle blew up our car.
Probably,
And it
yes.
turns out you just haven't changed the oil in 2 years.
Hey, we don't. Hey, we don't
He
talk.
didn't put water in it in the summer.
Hey, we.
Sonny sent me pictures of those tires, man. Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ.
Because someone was driving and it wasn't you because there was not enough of those tires left for you to be steering.
Hey, we don't talk about that.
Dude, Ithu gave you mad shit for that.
You know what?
I think that was actually the first time I talked to Ithu was when we were giving Dizzle shit about those tires.
Yeah, Ithu made me feel better though, because I was really pissed off.
Yeah, chalk it up, guys.
Hey, it's always at your expense.
It's supposed to be about Ithu, not my car.
That was when I met Ithu.
Oh.
He came in just to hear about how Dizzle broke the car.
As soon as he got in, oh my god.
Yeah, and then Dizzle went out to try to start it the next morning, and Ithu was trying to give him possibilities of what was wrong with it, and he goes, "I don't know what I'm doing, man."
Yeah.
Wait, is that when your car broke down?
Yeah.
We replaced we replaced the crappy Ford with a newer, smaller, can't fit in Ford.
And then he gave you shit about getting a Ford, and then he told
Oh,
you,
that sounds like it. Yeah.
Yep.
yeah, we have a Ford Fiesta.
Wow. Now, Sonny, this is one of those cases where I get to say, yeah, that's a gay ass car.
And that's what he said.
Two things since we started.
Like a Yaris and a Ford Fiesta. Those are the two gayest cars on the road.
Pretty much.
Two things since we started. Nemesis had posted that Scarlet Reaver, who did come over to us, said that he's sorry that he couldn't make it, that he's working in Canada. So another.
No, I'm in Canada.
Oh,
Scarlet
you're.
Reaver. He's in the U.S. He just couldn't make it.
Oh, okay. I got you. And then Booj actually sent me a picture earlier, and he just posted it. It's a picture from Space Engineers, and it is the first ship that Ithu actually built.
Does it look like a penis?
No,
From a
that's
certain
That would
angle,
definitely be
maybe.
my
That
first
builds
one.
the penis ships.
From a certain
Maybe
angle,
it was
maybe.
an adolescent ship. Not yet rated.
That's the one that crashed, isn't it, Booch?
Actually, no. About the time we finished that ship, I think we were sitting there like, "Hey, where's Dizzle?" No, Ithu said, "Hey, where's Dizzle?"
and
And he's
Booj,
like, "I'm on my way."
yeah, I'm somewhere off in that distance, out there in that hole, and I actually slammed into the mountainside, maybe about 100 meters away from that ship.
Yeah.
I was trying
And
to
that's
slow
when his
down.
privilege got taken away.
The most thrust was in the back
That's
of
why
the
he
ship.
called me Dizzle Jr.
Yeah, the most thrust was in the back of the ship, so the idea was to flip the bitch around, full throttle it. I didn't know that you weren't supposed to do that.
Don't target your destination.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
that's
man, and I went flying straight into that damn mountain. It went everywhere.
One of
it was
the
hilarious.
other fun things about Space Engineers is eventually it's like, oh, where's my ship? Oh, it's running away from me, and you had to jetpack chase after your ship
The
and be
gods of
lucky if
space
you could get back on
engineers.
it.
The gods of
Lord
physics and
Clank.
space engineers.
Well, that's
Playing.
like when I first met Ithu.
It's not gods, it's demons.
Yeah.
I
That
didn't even
game,
know how to
the
play.
physics in that game. I'm still mad at you for getting me to buy that piece of shit.
What were you
Oh,
saying,
so
Boosh?
cute.
Hold on,
Yes,
But
go on.
wait, which one?
Space Engineers.
Oh, yeah. Well, I still think it's great that I know how to play a game that Aether doesn't. It's called Elite Dangerous.
The dick
A,
measuring starts
yeah,
again.
The most
it's
condescending tutorial I have ever
not completed.
had to do.
Hey, I completed
But
that tutorial. It wasn't hard.
he got halfway through the either the second or the third tutorial, and all of a sudden I see him just log out of the game, and I was like, Aether, what's going on? He was like, fuck that game. I
And
bet you
as
Ithu
soon
could
as
do
I
it.
logged in on
It
Arc,
has its own spot in collections called Fuck That Game.
as soon as Ithu got me on Arc, I said fuck that game.
All right, so I'm gonna go through Ithu's list of 112 games and see if he ever played Elite Dangerous. Let's see.
That's nothing.
And actually in the in the broadcast, and actually I'm gonna go through the hours on different games that he spent. I mean, this
I
guy,
already know Arc.
yeah,
No,
Arc
it's
is
either Arc or Space Engineers.
yeah, Arc was 3,537 hours on record.
Man.
So he's no longer a Bob.
Space Engineers was 2,085 hours.
Yep.
I'd love to see his Diablo hours.
He spent,
I doubt.
man, I don't. Is there a
Can
way to
you
look
look at
that up?
this?
Yeah.
No.
No?
No.
Damn.
Oh.
I think he
Not
can't.
unless you log in and click
Just
type
try
slash
typing the
play.
name. Just
Yeah.
try typing the name where it says
'Cause
filter
you can't
games.
look at his profile.
Um,
See where it says recently played all games followed in reviews, try typing in where it says filter games to Diablo, unless it's non-Steam.
It's not Steam.
Yeah,
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 most of his
it's
stuff
not
was
Diablo
on
Steam.
2
Steam.
on something.
I think he played Diablo
Diablo
2 on
Probably
a
off
two-
the
Diablo.
fucking CD.
Diablo 2 was before
Yeah,
Steam.
he had the disc
It'll
for
be
it
its
too.
own thing.
Mm.
Oh yeah, he was always trying to
I
get me
have
to
a copy
rebuy
of
it.
that on CD myself. It's it's old school.
Yeah, he put the mods on Diablo 2, didn't he? Like on
Yeah, if
He
if
always
if you have the modded engine, then yeah.
he tried to get me to play it with him so I could realize what like came before Diablo 3.
Yeah.
Torment
it
and
was-
torture.
Torment and
What
torture.
what characters did he use the most there?
I don't know. He was looking forward to Diablo 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he was looking forward to Diablo 4. He wanted
Satisfactory.
Satisfactory to leave that horrible company Epic and come to Steam. God, he
Yep.
was.
He says never buying Borderlands 3 since it got.
Yeah, he wanted Borderlands 3. I mean, hell, Borderlands 2 right here. It's his number 4 game at 1,087 hours.
Yeah.
With Dota 2 just above it in third place at 1,135.
God, he played so much, and everybody knows it through is he always logs out of Steam when he logs off.
Yeah, 406 hours of Killing Floor. 231 hours on Conan Exiles.
He wanted
186
that to work out so well.
Yeah, 186 hours of Subnautica as he's waiting for it to go co-op.
Conan is the floppy wiener game, isn't it?
Yep.
Yep.
Yes.
Big dick little prick.
Jennifer, literally when you start out, you run around and your penis is swinging in the wind, and you can actually alter its length.
Yeah, you can you can change its length and girth for the most part.
Oh my.
Yes.
And the same
Quality
goes for the
content,
female
people.
gender.
Yeah.
Quality
You
content.
can, if you want to have saggy tits and a big butt, you can have that in that game.
Yeah.
I can have that in real
Rainy
life.
is very open.
Yeah.
And it's
Rainy
what we love about her.
Rainy's the most down to earth, should be American Australian.
She should. And she apparently makes great curry.
Chicken curry.
Yes, my chicken curry
It's
is
how I
to
fell
die
in
for.
love with her.
Just by hearing it, chicken curry. Oh my God, I love you.
Yes.
I've never had it before, but I love you.
Oh God, getting Bachelor flashbacks. It's all my sister's been watching.
Oh yeah, how did that go, by the way?
But we haven't heard it in the background, so I guess he
They
won.
finally finished the most recent episode, and it's over. Ugh.
But yeah, back to these epic hours, man. Planet Explorers, Terra Tech, Osiris New Dawn, all at least 150 hours. 110 hours of Left 4 Dead 2.
Oh, those are rookie numbers, man. He needed to bump those numbers up.
91
Left 4
hours.
Dead 2 is worth
Hey, this is
playing
the point
more.
where he would call you a little shit.
Yep.
Yep.
91 hours on record for Atlas that a lot of people absolutely hated.
Failed game.
You've got to like add these all up and like give a grand total at the end.
Well, I mean, that's just it. He's got 112 in his library. And as I scroll down towards, the bottom, there's a lot of games with less than 10. There's a ton of games with less than 10. And then starts
Where you painted Ithu.
Oh, don't even get me started on that. So Hazy painted you painted me. Hazy painted me. And so I thought Ithu painted my character, so I painted everybody with a white face, gave him a clown face, gave you all white
Ithu
face.
was so mad.
He was so pissed. He actually kicked Hazy out of the clan.
And then Hazy went and built his own thing, and Ithu was like, "All right, you can come back." And Hazy goes, "No, I will die by these raptors before I come back."
Well, some games actually let you run them without going through Steam, so there's a very good chance he'd have some games that were even higher. Like, for example,
like
Arma
Diablo.
2 you just start it with the exe and you don't bother with the Steam. So
yeah.
there's good chance he's got higher hours than what we even see. And then there's the non-Steam games he probably has.
Like Jennifer said, she's kind of avoiding going through his
It's just for the reasons.
just for the reasons.
Just
Yeah.
don't,
Let's
don't,
not.
don't
Let's
check
not.
his browsing history. That's all we can
My
say.
brainy goes there, of course.
Let's not tarnish the memory we have.
Oh, with all the jokes
You,
he
you, you,
made, I
you,
don't
you go
think
and
you
check.
could tarnish it.
You go and check the browser history, just streams of cat videos. I mean,
Probably.
He would. I still can't get over. He would literally log off the game with us to go pet the cats across the way.
Pet the pussies. You go over
Yeah,
there,
Now
pet
you're
the
that's what
playing
he
with the
said.
pussy.
I'm gonna go pet them. I was like, and you never knew if he was like talking about like cats or
If he
what he
was
was
if he was about to go
talking,
get some, I mean,
or if he was being funny, because he usually did it right after he like trashed Dizzle. He's
It's
like,
like Smoothie.
His work
Yeah.
done for the day.
Yeah.
so out of his top games, and I did this off of 500 hours plus through Steam. It's 13,101 hours on record.
Oh my
From
god.
just the games over 500 hours?
Yeah, just over 500.
All right, so
Jesus.
quick math. How many days is that? Of just straight gameplay.
13,000, how much?
That is 12,616 days.
No, that can't be right because you said 13,000 hours, right?
Yeah, divided by 24 hours.
Yeah, yeah.
You,
So you said
Dizzle?
12,000 something.
Wait, enter.
Yeah. You're like not carrying a one or something, right?
All right,
Yeah.
there we go.
That
All
is
right.
Math is hard.
541 days.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
but that would be
Non-stop, non-sleep.
Yeah, if you
as if
didn't.
he was
Yeah.
non-stop. Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot to hit the equal sign first,
That
and I
is
let
a
it run on.
year and a half.
Yeah.
How long have you guys been out? Over 10 years?
It's been a long
Yeah, I
So
hear 'em.
so divide the 3,600 whatever by
hear
about 10 years, and you'll get an idea of how many hours he played by year.
But yeah, that it would be 1.5 years of just straight on our gameplay. I hear him.
And then multiply by about 0.3 for sleep.
Yeah.
He did sleep. Just game, no sleep.
He did sleep when the sun came out. He went to sleep.
Yeah.
But yeah, probably about 36. Yeah, about 3,600
hibernated,
hours per year,
okay?
I'd say.
Ithu hibernated.
Yeah. When it was time to go to sleep, he was gone.
Maybe he was a vampire.
I think he was.
Yeah, we'll go with that. I think his name suits now, Ithu the Immortal.
Wasn't really Mountain Dew he was drinking.
No. Well,
It all makes
I
sense.
think Jennifer can concur it was Mountain Dew because she bought it.
Yeah, it was Diet Mountain Dew, which is strange, you know. But you know what's funny is that
My mom lives off
for
that
all of
too.
his. Does she? Yeah, that was his thing. Diet Mountain Dew. He didn't want regular Mountain Dew. It was always diet. And
A
She says
vampire.
it's a different taste.
A vampire fueled by Mountain Dew. There you go.
but yeah, funny enough, like in his life, like that, he was like completely clean. He's never done a drug in his life. He never liked alcohol. Like he was did with Diet Mountain Dew and cigarettes. Those were his jam.
Yeah, he was proud.
And
of it.
video games.
And
I
video
don't-
games. Yes.
I don't know if it was ever openly stated, and I don't know if you want to say it on a live stream, which has been recorded, the nature of what actually happened. Or if you don't want to say, I understand.
No, it's okay. I mean, and a little bit of it is a mystery for us. And I don't know if the email that I shared with Dizzle had been shared with you as well. But so what's the situation was he lived with me, with my family. I have a little historic house, and there's a mother-in-law suite in my backyard, and he loved it because it's funny because you talk about like seeing the sun come up and down. There actually weren't windows in it. It was like a little portable that a previous owner had like totally, modded to be nice and cozy inside, but it didn't have windows. But he loved that because he would get headaches sometimes, and he loved the fact that he could have complete darkness and game and do his thing and not have to
That's
actually
the
worry about
life.
curtains. Right? Yeah.
He had the life.
I,
Just
I beg for
day,
I beg for that shit every day.
he only has to go out of the house 2 days a year.
Yeah, pretty much.
He
Yeah.
only left the house 2 days. That's the life.
Yeah, like he would just come, and I was explaining earlier, he would come through the house sometimes, and it was so funny because I started referring to him as Laszlo from like Real Genius, because we would just be like in the living room, and he would just like cruise through, grab a pizza out of the thing, just start to,
What's
and
that?
just never talk to anybody, just do his thing, and then like next thing you know, all right, see you
Pet
later,
the
back
cat.
out. And pet the cat, yeah. The cats loved him,
You should
but
have let him take a cat with him.
oh, I don't think they'd come
I'm
back. They loved
surprised.
him most. so so he pretty much, he was a bit reclusive, and so I say a bit, like really much so. But the funny thing with him though is that if you were to come to the house and and just stop by and have to have a conversation or whatnot, he'd chat you up. I mean, if you were in person or
Chat in
whatnot,
person.
like, oh yeah, he would talk about it and find something in common and just, and it was always it was funny to me in a not funny haha way, because like he looked like I was describing him earlier, but like so he had long hair like down to his ass, all right, and he had a big old beard and some varietal of baseball cap that was from his favorite part shop up in like Ohio or something like that. He just really blue collar guy kind of guy, and but he just looked like Grizzly Adams, and it's funny because for the longest time I was told you I was a single mom and everything, and I got married to my husband a couple of years ago. But prior to that, I was dating, and sometimes I would bring people to the house, and how do you explain that you've got like this Grizzly Adams brother of yours living in the mother-in-law suite back there?
He walks in the
Yeah,
kitchen
good
and
luck.
see this guy standing there with a pizza in his hand.
Yes.
What?
Cat.
Who are you?
And there would be times that I would like will him like mentally, like, please God, if you're a sweet and holy God, would you please keep him occupied in his suite today and not come over, because like he just come over to them like, hey man, what's your name? Blah blah. I'm like chatting him up. I'm like, oh God, I'm gonna have to explain this.
Can I have a boyfriend, please?
Right?
Can you not
Date night
take
with a
him?
movie?
Can you not chat with him for 3 hours?
Right. So yeah, it was crazy, but yeah, so it was one of those things that you would never know anything was wrong, like if unless like, after a while you'd be like, weird, he doesn't like leave the house. I'm like, nope, so he lived back there by himself, and like so I did his grocery shopping for him, and my God, can I say just thank God for Walmart online shopping, because that made it so much easier.
You just shop and you pick.
That's what I do.
yeah. I would just like, what do you need, man? And we could just favorite it, because he would get the same thing. He's a creature of habit, so he would get the same thing over and over again. So after a while, you just get the favorites going. You can do the whole thing in 5 minutes. It was awesome. So he, he lived a bit, had a reclusive life, and he just kind of had his, his Diet Mountain Dew and his, his cigarettes and whatnot, and he ate anything he wanted. And I mean, when I say anything, I'm like, oh my God, I wish I could eat half the things. Like he chips and popcorn chicken and all these different things, and it just he really lived the life in the sense that like it was so indulgent. He got to whatever he wanted to eat, he made, and no one was there to check him. And but never gained weight off of it. I have no idea how do you live that damn sedentary of a lifestyle? Like, what kind of cruel trick, by the way, is nature playing on like women particularly, to where like if I look at a French fry, my ass grows, but like he can just clean out the hostess shelf and like sit at a computer all day and not gain a pound. I don't know how it happens, but
The life. I
the
wish.
life, yeah, he was pretty contained. So um so because he was a recluse and kind of a stay-at-home guy,
A hermit.
he did not want to go anywhere. Yep. And like Dizzle was talking about last year, and I don't know if this is related or not. I assume it is, because last year he had gotten sick, like for I guess it was pretty extreme. And because my son is older now, my son's like 16. I don't need him to babysit like I used to back in the day, right? There would be it was not uncommon for me to go a week or two without seeing him. You know, he would just do his thing, and he would just pop his head up when he needed something or want to make pizza or play with the cats. So last year there was a time when, you know, a couple of weeks I didn't hear from him, and then he comes back and his voice sounds like gravel, and he can barely talk, and he's like, oh yeah, he's like, I'm still kind of weak, I was sick and everything, I didn't eat for 4 days. I'm like, oh my Jesus, could you tell me? Like, I'm literally like, 20 feet over there. Like, could you just, come in and let us know? We had no idea, but he just did. That was how he was. He didn't want anyone involved, and he just handled things on his own. And he never even, like I said, never told me that he was sick, never asked for help, nothing. So try to get him to go to the doctor, like, no, 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 I'm fine, that's stupid, blah blah blah, and everything. So, and he just eventually kind of got over it, like, that day by day he, would be a little stronger, his voice a little stronger. But I mean, if I were honest, I'd say like he was never 100% again after that, like as far as, the way he sounded. And
Smoking probably didn't help him much.
it didn't help. And, there's no window, so there's just like, not a whole lot of ventilation going on, just your little wall unit and stuff. And yeah, so and he did complain of headaches, and that's why he liked that it didn't have windows, because he would get migraines, he said. And he said that he liked being in the dark, where he could just kind of, sit there and play and not have to be fighting the sunlight and such. So that was the only thing I knew that was wrong with him, like that, and because he smoked a lot, like his teeth weren't awesome. So but other than that, like outside of headaches, I never knew of anything. He could have been dealing with stuff, but he would never go to a doctor to confirm anything. It's that ostrich approach. So so I was explaining that earlier in January, I had to go to a training for my job, and they sent me to Philadelphia for a week. And my husband was going to come with me because he went to Temple, and he lived in Philly for 10 years, so he had friends up there. So he was going to go with me for a couple of days, anyways, and it was going to leave my son back at home. And so I asked him, say, hey, would you keep an eye on him? Just poking every once in a while, and to help him take care of the cats and stuff. And he's like, oh yeah, no problem. And I left on the 3rd, and my husband came back on I think he came back on the 6th or so, and he talked to Scott. Scott actually came over and was like, hey, when's Jennifer coming home? And he's like, oh, not till late Friday. And he's like, oh, okay. And then he went back into his little pod, and we didn't hear from him again. And when I came back, like, I had a crazy flight issue, so when I got back, like, I didn't get back till super late. I ended up having to come into an entirely different airport and all that shit. Thank you, Delta. And by the time that I got home, it was like super late. So, I didn't think anything of it. And then you just get into your life and your routine. And I had gone to the store like Monday and picked him up some Diet Mountain Dew, because I figured I'd been gone for a week. He probably needed more. So I got him some of that. And I called him, and so he can come to the house and pick it up. And no answer. And I was like, oh, okay, well, maybe he's sleeping, like his sleep was a little bit wonky. And so for like the next day or so, I really thought nothing of it. I just called at different times thinking like, well, shit, at some point he's got to be awake, fine. So, and then when he didn't answer like the 3rd or 4th time that I'd called, I was like, okay, let me just go over there. And so then I go over there and I start banging on the door, and he's still not answering. And that's like when I'm realizing like something's really, really wrong. Yeah. And so I called 911 to do a wellness check. And at first, and I'm really glad I did, because I mean, my dumbass literally was like going through my keys, and I had tried like 2 or 3 keys, and I'm like thinking, and by the 3rd key, I'm like, what the hell am I doing? Like, am I gonna walk in here and see, like, oh no, let somebody else like have that image. Like, I don't, because I had a feeling that he'd been gone. So I stopped trying keys and called 911. And while they were coming out, and I was waiting for them to get here, I asked my son, just like, hey, can you log on to Steam because I never do, and I was like, can you just check and see if Scott's been online recently and just what his deal is? And we looked on, and it said that the last time that he had been logged on was the 11th, which I felt, obviously incredibly bad about because you start questioning, like, God, if I come home and I checked, would that have made a difference or whatever,
You can't blame
Um,
yourself.
yeah. So I'm getting better about that. Those first couple days were a little bit, ragged and haggard. But so that's when I definitely knew that he was gone when it said the 11th, because there would be no way that he wouldn't have been online if he could have helped it.
I think
So,
that's what he said.
Yeah, when I saw him offline for that long, that's what I told Sonny. I was like, if he had the ability to get online, he would have been online. Like
yes,
everything was on
Yeah.
his.
yeah, yeah.
So
As
the
far as the reason, though, I don't know. They
When will you find out?
they did an autopsy. They told us that it can take, they don't suspect foul play because he was buttoned up in there
What?
like he was, so nobody would have messed with him. But they said that results can take up to 3 to 6 months. So they were setting the expectation that it could be a long while before we know what in the world. But I told Bizzle that if I had to guess, I would say that between the smoking and Diet Mountain Dew and him complaining of headaches, maybe some kind of an aneurysm. Like I
Yeah.
don't know. But
Yeah.
So
we just
sudden.
yeah, and that's the thing. You just hope that my first thought was like, oh my gosh, was he gaming and was he online with someone when it happened? Did someone hear it? And then
If someone had heard it, we would have been making a fuss. I think.
yeah. And so my thought,
We tried
and
to find
hope
out
would
his
be,
age in 2 weeks.
yeah,
We
and so that's,
tried.
no, and I appreciate it. You guys are amazing. And so, but my hope and my thought is that maybe he had signed off for the night and hopefully just passed in his sleep. We hope it was, quietly and painlessly, right?
We all
So,
hope that.
yeah. But I couldn't even tell you because unfortunately, he was so quiet about anything that was going on with him, like particularly physically and stuff. Like he said, he was on death's doorstep apparently last year with the flu or pneumonia or whatever he got. I don't even know what he got. I just know that afterwards he came back. He's like, yeah, I'm real sick and I didn't eat. I'm like, how do you not tell me that? Like you know, I'm right here. I can help you. But he, and that's kind of what I'm clinging to a little bit in the sense that, like, well, if he doesn't give you, he's a big boy, if he doesn't give you the opportunity to help, then, you can't blame yourself when you
Not
didn't
you.
know.
It's definitely
No.
him.
Yeah.
Stuff like this, any comment of blame is a moot point. There's even if you had have known sooner, there would have been probably nothing you could do.
Especially if it was an aneurysm. That's just the kind of thing. It happens.
It happens. It happens suddenly. I've had relatives who have had like aneurysms and stuff, and they're fine one moment, and then the next moment they're on the floor and being rushed to the hospital.
It's
It's
the voice
just
of wisdom.
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, like I even said, whenever like the night or morning that it was all happening. I mean, we talked for a good little bit. I mean, and he did sound tired. He had that raggedy kind of sound to him, but otherwise, I mean, he was full Ithu. I mean, spirits were there, the words were there, the not so nice words were there. Um, I mean, and then we
Ithu, right.
yeah, and then the most un-Ithu thing that happened is that he actually said good night, and I was just like, I'm like, well, damn it, man. I'm like, well, good night, man, and and he got off, and I mean, some bitch never came back.
Anytime me and Ithu said goodnight, we spent the next 8 hours talking about random bullshit.
Always something more.
That's that.
Yeah, if you, I gotta go to bed, man. It's like 4 hours ago.
Ithu would do that to Dizzle all the time.
Yeah, I mean, well, hell, I mean, that was usually it. Like where Hazy would get the after the good night, that was before. Like we were done like dealing with arc stuff, and we just randomly just started talking about stuff like we normally do. But usually it'd just be like, all right, later, later, ba-doop, ba-doop. We'd get off and we'd kick out of Steam and go to bed, come back. A few hours later, it's like, all right, man, I got my catnap in, let's do this. And but I
Usually
mean,
Nagina's fussing at us for keeping him.
yeah.
Man, I gotta go to bed. just locks on. Poor Nagina. We run you ragged.
There was a couple of times where we'd be talking, and he'd just keep talking, and it keep me going, And I look at the clock and say, "Dude, you know."
He just didn't
You
care.
freaking know. Yeah, you know I need sleep, man.
Dude didn't have a job, Like I said, you can't be letting him set the time clock.
Yeah, I mean, and and the thing is it's like he would play till like 5 o'clock in the morning and then get back on around noon. We're like, what the fuck does he do for a
I don't know how
living?
the fuck he did.
Plays video games.
Yeah.
Fuck
I
game.
even tried to get him to stream. I was like, "Oh, you're home all day. You might as well." And he's like, "No."
I was like,
He did
you're.
not like
He's like, it kind of turned into like instead of telling like back when he was basically showing Booch the ropes and watching me crash ships into mountainsides, it came up of and it's like instead of telling Booch how to do things, why don't you just do like instructional broadcasts, and share it to the world? And he's like, nah, I'm good. It's like that would take out all the fun of me bossing you guys around. I'm like, yeah, okay.
most of our last days was Dizzle trying to talk Ithu into PvP and him repeatedly going, no.
He's
flat
like,
out, nope.
his biggest thing is if he's gonna play a game like Ark or Atlas or Space Engineers or anything like that, it's gonna be on a private server and it's gonna be player versus environment. He doesn't want no assholes because otherwise he's gonna flip shit and pull an Ithu. Yeah, he's gonna be
Exactly.
an ass to everybody.
Yeah.
Which I find funny because he used to make fun of me. Like I told you, I don't game a whole lot, but I'll tell you the funniest damn thing. I got into one game, and he was always upset with me because yes, I played it on the PS4, which of course I know is a bitch platform according to Ithu. But
Yep. That was the thing he and I bonded over.
right, but I only played one damn game, and it was Plants vs Zombies.
Oh God!
Oh God, it would have been better if you played it on a fucking phone.
I know, and it's EA.
Damn, I could have given him so much shit about that.
All right, a lot of I hear some like boos in the crowd, but Jennifer, you just made a little bit more of a friend with Sonny just now. She loves Plants vs Zombies.
I love it.
It's a great game, but I would get so pissy, and like I literally like I was not allowed to have a headset because I would be cursing at children, and that's not okay. So,
it's fine. It builds character.
But he would come over, right? And so he would come over and he would make fun of me because I'd be like screaming at them and and he's like whatever. But yeah, but he act like he would never do that,
Now I just play Stardew Valley.
I've seen.
I'm pretty sure she still manages to rage at that.
Oh, I do. I got mad the other day because the NPC, literally, I can't go into their rooms unless I'm friends with them, and I couldn't become friends with them unless he came out of his room. I sat at his door for 3 hours.
I can see it now. My fucking tomatoes grew crooked. Ah!
I forgot to water one tomato the other day and it didn't grow.
And now they are out of sync and it's ruined.
Yeah, the season's gone.
Yeah, exactly.
Just scrap all of it. Start over.
Yo,
Don't try me.
she stayed outside.
I need to go build a giant penis-shaped ship in Space Engineers just for Ithu.
There is one. It's called the Mandingo.
Oh no, yeah, they did. They did. And then Dizzle crashed it.
It is big, it is black, and Ithu built it, and it'll lag you out of the game.
There was actually a moment where Ithu was shouting at one of my friends. It was actually kind of funny because, well, you guys remember Kit, right?
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
Here we
Um,
go. Here we go.
You sound just like him. I thought you were Kit.
no, I'm Alex.
I was being good. I was being good, but I was like, no, he doesn't annoy me the same way he does. It can't be the same guy.
And I'm responsible for Sundra even existing in our group. But anyways,
Aether hates Kit.
Like, he opened his mouth, and it was just like, nope.
Yeah.
Not about that at all.
But he's very open about it.
But no, Kit was making a gigantic solar panel farm, and Rhea, another of my friends, she crashed into the whole thing. But the thing is that it was like, actually, he didn't yell at her. It was more of a Ithu just started cracking up like that deep belly laugh he used to do.
Yep.
Yeah, he
The one you couldn't tell if it was coming from like an evil mastermind or just some dude who smoked too much.
Yes, and she just smashed right into it. And next thing you know, I hear Ithu cackling like a madman over there.
Yeah. Because he knew exactly what you did, and he was just waiting for you to have to admit it so he could rub your face in that pile of shit.
Exactly. I mean, that's.
With
He's listening to us right now, cackling again.
yeah, with that, Jennifer, I'm not sure if you've been looking at Ithu's Steam page since you had posted your reach out to everybody, but someone did say, "Rest in peace, buddy. I can still hear the sound of his Zippo and his laugh."
Everybody can.
Yeah.
You just hear that clink, and then
So his laugh and that Zippo clinking through the mic, man, it is so. I mean, if there was a
I can hear it just thinking about it.
yeah, if there was a visual for the word iconic, that would be it right there.
It was a very distinct sound.
Just like that.
I'll
chink.
never forget it.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
that's all he used. He would not use a regular, he only had a Zippo, and we had to go get flints for it all the time, and whatever the butane or whatever it is they pour in there, or the lighter fluid. So yeah, he just kept this one Zippo going, and he must have had it for years. That was the way he did though. Like, once you found something that you liked, that was it. There was no need to ever do anything else.
hey, I love my Zippo. I have one too. I still have it.
It is a very distinct sound.
It does.
Oh yeah, there's a ring.
When I was at the beach, I actually had to go buy one of those Zippo torches because the wind is so crazy. It's still my favorite. It'll light your cigarette anywhere.
And if you do it just right, you can get the fire burning in your pocket too and not hurt yourself too. If you're really cold, it works.
Hey, I
Um,
understand that.
I would like to make note that there, minus Jennifer, there's 11 of us here, sharing these epic stories and everything. Ithu had,
And there's probably another 1,000.
yeah, I mean, there's probably I know that there's so many more that either didn't get the message in time or just couldn't be here. But he did have, whether if he really knew him or not, he made Steam friends of 112.
He wouldn't add me until he spoke to me, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, those are all people he's probably 100% spoken to.
Oh yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
I friended him on Steam, and he goes, nah.
Yeah. He was also in 7 groups. It looks like his featured one may not be as I'm not going to click on it because I'm broadcasting this. But yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it. It's half naked girls.
Somehow I'm in it too.
Classic content.
Yeah.
That is why she will not go on his computer.
Oh God, scrub that drive,
Just
Jesus.
be good sister and stick it in the tub.
But
So 50-50,
Yeah,
his
powered up.
desktop background is either cars, women, or cars and women.
Or welding
Arc.
porn.
Or Arc.
Or some really fucked up combination of.
Or it's a cat.
There,
I
there
will
is
have
an
to come
anime
back
out
to you and
there.
I will let you know.
There is an
Please.
anime out
I've
there.
got to
where
know.
you
I've got to
can,
know now.
There's got to be a pool, and whoever's closest to the pin, like it's.
Man.
I
It's a
will
free
give
Zippo.
away a game to whoever gets it closest.
Man, he
Well,
means it too.
as far as a gamer though,
Either start a poll.
yeah, something I got to give him props to. As far as a gamer goes, I mean, 112 games. That's that number also includes the things that are listed as
Yeah.
DLCs and stuff like that in that list. He has a 36% average of game completion.
Shit.
That's insane.
Um,
Holy shit.
he
Where
has
do you see that metric?
on his Steam
It's on the
profile.
homepage.
His
See, she's better at this than you are, Aether.
he has out of the games that he actually played, he managed to push 1,280 achievements. And his achievement showcase, mostly for the game called Firefall, he's got one where only
Oh, I remember Firefall.
0.3% of all players have obtained, 0.5% of all players obtained, 0.6% have obtained, 0.7 and 1% just in Firefall. And he's got one from Craft the World where only 0.5% of all players had obtained it. I mean, that's
Also a possibility that he has more achievements because some games, for example, Ark, we had achievements and they did an update to the game and they completely wiped out the existing. They're not there anymore achievements and
yeah,
replaced them with other ones. So
right.
I can see that. Yeah.
Jesus.
Bullshittery.
God, hours in Arc. 3,536.
You need to look at Blastas and Garfield Kart.
Oh Jesus! Don't do it! Don't do it!
And the thing is, he didn't play. He
And
played
Tetris.
he played Space Engineers with others. He played Ark mostly with us. Space Engineers was with another group, and the fact that you can
Two hearts
see
at the same
this,
time.
and he played both games on the 11th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like everybody got like a final piece of Ithu before he left us, and it's like a happy sad.
His last day, he yelled at me.
It's not par for the course.
He was
Yeah.
yelling at me too.
He was yelling at you too.
Yeah, he's like, when you fuckers gonna join my ARC server?
Oh God, I tried.
No,
I
I moved the chest. That's what I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And probably
I could not play Arc with the man. I just couldn't do it because he would just get started and just if you dude, you're too much. Don't slow. I can't. No, I
Man,
don't
he
have
gets
any
so
idea
mad at
what you just said.
Nagino. He told Nagino not to go tame a crab. What did Nagino do?
he went and go
Tame
tamed a
crab.
crab.
Tame
He
crab.
he tamed a crab. He came back with a rock drake. I mean, he's. Oh man.
He rolled that server back because I accidentally took out his tree in the middle of the base.
I remember that.
And he rolled it back like 3 days.
What?
Yeah, I'm gonna get my treat.
We were on that awful aberration map. The one with the earthquakes every like 5 minutes.
Hazy knows what I'm talking about. That damn tree.
Oh, and then I accidentally punched it because Hazy was like messing with me, and I went to go punch Hazy, and I knocked the tree down with one. It was so pissed.
That's my
He's
fucking
like,
tree.
he's like, we were using it for the light. I'm like, bro, we have lights. It's fine. He's like, but you don't understand.
A lot of
I
us.
don't know if Aether's still in Is he?
No, he's not.
Yeah,
Uh,
he said he had to go abruptly, so he's sorry.
Um, you know, God, I think the funniest thing, like I never really looked at it until, maybe about a year ago. Um, and you kind of think about it too. Like a lot of us, we have our own little emblems and pictures or anime or
His is
screenshots
always a damn cat.
as our logos. And for the longest time, because I never looked at it, I thought it was a picture of like a wolf, in a majestic background or something. And lo and behold, it's a cat wearing
It's a
a
cat
f- a f-
meme.
it's a cat with a fucking tie sitting on a floor in a living room or something. And it is such an Ithu meme. It says, "Hello, good sir. On behalf of the internets, I must regretfully inform you to get the fuck out and take your fail with you."
Yep. Yep.
I,
Yep.
Yep.
the
He
the
will let you
first
know when you're doing it wrong.
the first fucking time I read that, I was like, "This cat's an asshole, just like Ithu." I mean, he took it
It
and
was definitely that guy who walked in and said, "You're doing it wrong, dumbass."
yeah,
Mhm.
He said that to me a lot.
if I think if Ithu was emulating anybody from TV,
Red Foreman.
it would be Red Foreman from that '70s
Ah!
show.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yep.
Hmm.
He's a good person.
Oh
He
man.
really was. Yeah,
In fact, he
I
loved
remember.
cats.
He did. He loved the cats. He loved all animals, but like my mom had when he stayed with my mom a little bit when he first came down from Ohio to Florida, and she had mainly dogs and stuff. He loved the dogs too, but like we just have cats, so he loves the cats.
He told Dizzle to punt our Pomeranian.
He really did. It was between punt the Pomeranian and duct tape my child to a wall or to his bed or whatever.
Well, it was when the dog was fucking with the cat and wouldn't leave the cat
Yeah.
alone. So he said, punt the dog.
Yep.
Well, to be fair, when the dogs that he liked tend to be big, more sloppy dogs, like bigger dogs. Like he would always talk about like little bug-eyed rat dogs, and he didn't like the little yippy dogs.
Yeah, he called her a yippy dog.
Yeah. Hmm.
Oh man.
So I told you he had a GMC Jimmy at one point in time. And a funny story is, when he moved in with me, shortly after I don't know what we got in a conversation about his truck, and I was like, I wouldn't mind having a truck like that. That was pretty cool. And he was all upset that he had to sell it or whatnot, and we got rid of it. And not that he goes anywhere, but whatever. And you like to have the option. Y'all might find it funny that he actually had a car here for a while. My mother had given him a car, and like he never drove it anywhere, but he would never let us sell it either, because maybe.
He wanted the option.
Right. He liked the option like he could, even though like now it's like all overgrown and the tires are flat and all that. But like still, don't sell it. No. I'm gonna fix that up one day and we're gonna drive around. Like, all right. But we get to talk about trucks one day, and I was like, I wouldn't mind having one. And so we started going on like eBay Motors and a few other places and just kind of see what was out there and what I'd have to what I'd probably spend if I got something like what he had and stuff. And we were just chatting it up and nothing doing, not making any plans about it, and everything, just dreaming. And shit you not, very next day, I'm driving up to my mother's house about an hour and a half away, and about midway, I go through this little town, and there's a damn 1989 Chevy Blazer that has been cropped. So it's a convertible. It's got a roll cage and it's lifted on 35 tires. And I'm like, oh my God, it's beautiful. and and so it was like everything. It was white with like the roll cage and the whole bit. It was so cool. And the dude was only asking $2,500 for it. And I was like, oh my God. And so I called Scott, and to his credit, this is like, now granted, this was like 10 years ago. This is when his car still ran. He got in his car and he drove like what would have been about a half an hour or so to come to this place, because I was like, I don't know, I know jack and shit about trucks, can you take a look at this and tell me if this is a good deal? Because I might be able to scrounge enough to actually make this happen. And he's like, is it a Chevy? I'm like, yes. And he's like, I don't need to see it because Chevys are fine. And if it's not fine, it's only $40 to fix it. I'm like, oh, okay, well.
Oh my god, this sounds like my dad.
So, but he came up there and he, kicked the tires and gave it his little once over. Right, exactly. And then, I had to wait for my tax return to come in, but the dude was willing to work with me, and I brought it home. And her name is Ethel, and he helped me. He helped me work on Ethel, but the condition was he's like, and he was dead serious about this. Like I laughed at first, but he's like, no, but for real, he's like, you cannot make it pink. I had better not see one fucking scrap of pink on this truck. He's like, you put pink on it, I'm out. You can work on it yourself. You can figure it out. He's like, but as long as there's no pink, I'll help you work on it. I'm like, all right, man. And so for years, yeah, he would help me work on Ethel and fix it up when I was impatient. What's that? I never put pink. I put red skulls on it just for him. So,
It's
but I
like
still have her. She's fantastic. I don't know who's going to work on her now because it sure as hell ain't me. But I wasn't absorbing anything. But
he talks about working on your cars.
Yeah, he did. He helped a lot.
oh man, good times.
Yeah. And I just wanted to tell you guys all, like, because I've mentioned it a couple times to some folks, but it really means a lot just to be able to know that he had such a caring community and that people gave a shit. Because you have to understand from the family's perspective. Like I knew he was online a lot, and I knew he played games with folks, but like people like my mother just knew that he sat in a room all day long and never went out and didn't have friends and didn't go about town or anything like that. So I know that she worried sometimes that that he passed alone or that he didn't have friends, and we were going to have a little memorial for him, and it was just going to be us. It's like literally like there's my mother, and she had 4 children, and now there are 3, and so it's literally just would be us and maybe a couple folks that might have known him by proxy through us, but that was it. That's the only people who knew him in like air quote real life, and I knew immediately when he passed that like I didn't know how to get in touch, with because I knew he had online friends, and I'm like, that's where his life was. It wasn't out with us. I mean, yeah, we saw him and we, joked with him for a few minutes when he'd come by or whatever, but that's not where his life was. His life was online, and it was with you all. And and I'm so glad because my son was savvy enough to say like, well, if you just post something on his profile, people will see it. I'm like, all right, I'll try, and we'll just do that, and just sit and then wait. And it has made all the difference because at first I didn't hear back right away, and I'm like, oh, okay, well I guess people are just they're just online friends and nobody cares, and like you get that feeling of just like, oh, because you play games with people and you don't know them that personally or whatnot, or they're like, oh, I guess I don't play with that person anymore. You don't even wonder what happened, and once the outreach started coming in, and I'm going to try to do this without getting sniffly, but I can't tell you all what it has meant to me and by proxy the family to be able to share that he really had great friendships and was having a good time, and he wasn't alone, and he, yeah. So this has just been the best thing ever as far as like helping us understand his life and how he chose to live it.
Will touch the lives of so many
I
and
know.
made so many people very happy.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's many more that would have liked to have known. I mean, I was not part of this community, which someone happened to be in the same Discord as me in another one, and I found out from that one, and I let another Discord person know. Like, so that's at least 4 different Discord channels. But the thing is, there's, I'm sure, many others. As we know, the internet is all weaved together.
Not to mention the 100 odd people on his friend list in Steam. they'll probably learn about it over
They'll
time.
be,
Yeah, they probably will.
in the
It was
next
very
year.
important for me and Dizzle that when he found out to try and get in touch with everybody. Like I knew that there were people that were close to him that weren't in our Discord anymore. And differences aside from everything and from everybody, it was important to let his friends know so that everybody could talk to you.
Yeah, I
Yes.
mean, when after I sent you the my initial email after finding your post on his Steam profile, um, I was waiting for that reply back, with anything, and next you know I got it. I got halfway through to it, like I said. I mean, when you said that you were coming back on the 10th, I was like, Jesus Christ. I was playing with him on the 11th. Like, and to find out that he had passed just hours later, it shook the hell out of me, and I immediately, broke down, gathered myself, and I was like, I've got to let others know. And the only other Discord that I knew of was his original Discord that he had created at some point in time called the Dark Ones. So I shot your email over there, and Nemesis is part of that one, and I think that's where he was talking about, and he took
Correct.
it and
Yep.
he ran it off, and I was just like, wait, hold on, there was more people who knew him, you know, and at which that point, Sonny got in touch with Rini. Rini was able to get her into another place that he was in. So then they were able to share the information that way. So I mean, God only knows how far it actually ended up going.
Yeah, because
Um,
the ones that I reached out to, we had played, Space Engineers 5 years ago with him. It wasn't what he's currently doing, but it was the group that we, like I said, Space Engineers in 2015 had been together, and so the word's getting around. It's just not everybody
Knows everybody.
plays with him currently, right? So
Yeah.
Seasonal.
Yeah.
if they didn't remember the name from 5 years ago, they may not recall.
Yeah.
But the ones he impacted will.
Yeah, and I know that at least I think 5 or 6 came over and said something in this Discord.
And we want you to have, and your mother to have full access to everything. And I mean, y'all can talk to us anytime. And
I appreciate that.
I'm,
I think she's a little, she's older, right? So she's still trying to figure this all out, like someday you're gonna
Somebody's
talk
yelling
to
at
them
me.
like online, right? So it's cute because I know she didn't fully understand like what he did. So in her mind, like she's just like, oh, he just pulled up in little house playing games and stuff,
yeah.
not fully
Well,
appreciating that it's not that it's actually a very social thing to do.
Yeah.
something we could do is like take like all of the things from what everybody's posted in the Memorial of Ithu and email them to you so you can print them out and let your mother read them.
That would be phenomenal. They're looking at like I guess March 1st is when she said that we're trying to get together and have a little something. It was this is just a side thought. It was just funny to me. So Scott, for whatever reason, hated having his picture taken, and I don't remember that being an always thing, but it certainly has been a as long as I can remember right now thing.
hell, I thought he was
And
a cat with a tie.
right, the whole time, right? What's funny is actually I have a picture that little black cat Krampus that loves him so much. I actually have him wearing a tie, and he looks like that business cat meme. So, but yeah, so Scott hated having his picture taken and whatnot. So like we have like no adult pictures of him. My mother sends me this thing today, and it's like this little YouTube memorial that she had found that one of her friends did for their loved one or whatnot. And it was just one of those things where it was like a slideshow of pictures set to nice music and I was like, ours would be like 60 seconds long. Like we got 3 pictures of the dude.
Hey,
Like
can you add all the online screenshots we've got of them? I mean, I'm sure people could amass them.
Yeah, I mean, I was even saying, because I did broadcasting for a good 2 years solid, any game that I was playing, and Ithu was usually either in the chat, talking shit, or he was actually in the game with us, continuing to talk shit. But regardless, I was really kicking myself in the ass because I didn't I didn't highlight them so they would stay. And and but like I said, the only thing that I've got like with him and with his little snide ass comments was an old video back from either 2014 or 2015, and he's just putting them in where he can,
Little
just get
jabs,
just making us all laugh.
Well, Booze streams too. Do you have any with him?
I was looking through mine, and uh, back then when he was, you know, jumping in and poking at me, you're doing it wrong. Yeah,
It's not supposed to go there.
dumbass.
It works better if you put it over here.
That's actually like it. And then one day I said, you know what? You come here and show me how it's done. And he did.
Maybe we can amass enough content
Yeah,
to do an Ithu montage.
hey, and
that,
as
that would be a fun thing. Like just
you know,
like it's just his online profile, 'cause that's where he was.
and like what Booch said, little did he know I was on the way into that game
Yeah.
with my
Yeah.
own broadcast.
But like it was literally just me learning how to crash into a planet constantly, and he just got tired of watching me do it.
Most of the time playing Ark, because we have this thing where it'll show you when your teammate dies, and I of course would die of either starvation or dehydration, or on the off chance I would get killed by the lowest possible dinosaur you could get killed by.
And then you start seeing the dinosaurs showing up as this high level dinosaur just died. We're like, the hell are you doing, Sonny? I don't know. And then you just hear Ithu, well, stop it. I'm not taming all these things again.
And then I actually learned how to arc. And then I went off and killed a bunch of stuff. And Ithu's like, get back here.
He's like, you can simmer down.
Yeah, he's like, you need to finish building this base here, not kill things.
It's funny. My son played it for a little while, and I don't know if they ever played together or whatnot. But my son, I remember looking over his shoulder, watching him play for a minute. I'm like, and all I got from it was like, so you stuff berries down there to tame them? And I was like, yeah. I was like, that doesn't seem okay.
And Ithu would insert, you could stuff other things too.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he has.
It is laying unconscious at that point.
Yeah. Well, in Ark, I would one of the reasons I would die so much is I would literally run around naked because I was building, so I didn't think to make armor for myself. And I would log out in like the middle of the randomly, and Ithu would just insert the nastiest comment he could. It was so bad. I'm like, bad Ithu. He's just like, well, put some damn clothes on and you won't have that problem now, will you?
I can hear it. I can hear him saying that.
You want to do where we're all from?
Well, yeah, sure.
Cool. People who are in the States could do their state of where they're at. I'm from Yeet.
Yeet.
Yeet. Which we made a Ithu emoji.
Yeah, we maybe about the day after we were in correspondence with the emails, I had started to tell our admin team and everyone else in here, uh, or within our community, and I was just like, what can we do to really like preserve Ithu as one of our members and part of our family.
Mhm.
And at which at that point Nagino was just like, all right, I got this, or it was either Nagino or Aether, and they were like, the immortal Ithu. I was like, that works. And at which at that point I was just like, all right, now how do we keep it where we can use it? Because with them offline, the only way he's really going to show up is if we're tagging him in something. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do this. So I went to his Steam profile. I did a screenshot. I cropped the hell out of that image of that cat meme, and I turned it into one of our emojis. And I was just like,
Oh,
that's probably the best I could do.
that's awesome because that cat has kind of a disappointed look on his face, and so like whenever you're just like, "What the hell are you
Just
doing?"
yep.
You could just
To take
slide
your
it in there. That's
get the fuck out and take your fail with you.
That's awesome.
I'm actually going to be doing a memorial on my Minecraft server for him as well.
Aw.
That's sweet.
Oh, definitely. When you can, take a good screenshot of it and throw it in here. That'd be
Certainly.
awesome, man.
Yep. We're planning
thank
to
you.
rebuild the ship as a thingo structure in Minecraft, and put a little thingo, armor stand of Ithu in it.
I'm even going to like make a headstone
Oh, there you go.
as well.
Oh.
In
And
Ark, you might
That's
be able to
really
make him a digital tree and say Ithu's tree.
If
I
it,
mean, why not?
Minecraft, you can super grow a tree like super tall, and then just got to make sure you don't cut it down, or
Do
you
we
leave,
Yeah,
have
you
or
that?
can't cut it
Do we
down
have
and
that
leave it
mod?
on your server 3 days.
which
Do
mod?
we have that mod with the 120 block tall tree?
No,
Oh my god.
no, we don't have that one.
I
it's
keep
got it.
calling it a tree. This thing was honestly a giant ass mushroom.
That had like little fairy dust things falling
It
from it that
did.
lit the area.
And you couldn't touch it.
The tree that we should not mention.
Gino tried to downplay that tree when Ithu logged on. Everybody was like, maybe he won't notice first thing. Where's my tree?
We could call it back at the time we could have called it Ithu's tree, Nagino's disaster. I
What
mean
was
you pick.
actually what was his username on Minecraft? Was it
He
Ithu?
didn't play Minecraft.
Oh, he didn't. Okay.
No, I didn't.
He gave me crap about playing Minecraft.
Every
Oh
time
dear.
I tried to get him to play Minecraft, he was like, do you want to like
Blocks.
yeah. He's like, I'd rather play with Legos. Like, jeez.
He said, I'll go play Space Engineers.
Yeah.
And I think the most crap he gave me was probably The Sims.
Oh,
Yeah.
I can imagine that.
Yeah.
My son just
No,
came
no,
in.
he got me to play some. He got me to play some off-brand Minecraft once.
Oh, sure.
Oh,
Won't play Minecraft, but
which
he plays some off.
what Creativerse?
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He got me to play Creativerse. Oh man.
It has a
I'm not gonna lie. I got
gauntlet.
I got I got I got hooked into Creativerse, and he only played with me one time. And I
I
played
would play Muscar, dude.
and I played it for a good little bit.
I got hooked into it too, but like I think we did everything in like a day, so like
Yeah.
we got bored after like a day. We had to move on to something else.
Man, you never logged back onto the Ark server, and your body was just like laying there for a good while, and every time it went by, your body goes, "Oh, it's hazy."
I think eventually he threw you up.
Funniest
And
thing
Well, I
is,
mean, it's like every time I would log on, I would find the exact thing I wanted or needed, and before I knew it, like I had like 149, 150, like I had like pretty much max level everything that I needed, like crabs and all that shit, and I was just like, well, goddamn, like all the fun's gone.
Yeah.
I actually met both Hazy and Ithu at the same time through Warframe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The Ithu.
One of only, man. You know, there's a one in a million of a lot of people, but Ithu, nope. It's
It's the one.
he was the one.
Rainy, seriously.
You know, in essence, it's almost like
What do you expect from me?
Was it a penis or boobs or what?
No, Rainy just got shot by a skeleton.
I currently I'm the only person who's died on Alex's server, and I've died like 30 times already.
There's a leaderboard that shows who's died the most, and she's on top of it.
I died from hunger in that game too.
That's not too difficult if you're not paying attention.
I don't pay attention. That's my problem. I'll like start phone surfing or something else.
While you're waiting for stuff to happen, it's just like,
Nah, it's just in general. I'll literally stop what I'm doing. I'm horrible, okay?
it's all good.
Oh man.
Well,
Well, does anybody have anything else?
When I had mentioned, that one of my online friends had passed away, somebody had said, there are people that are online friends that know us better than those that we meet in real life, and are, in essence, better friends than those that we know in person, because there's that level of anonymity that we can open up and share somewhat more.
yeah.
You can be your authentic self.
I met Dizzle in an online game.
We really did. And it was just before I met Ithu. Or, well,
There are people in this group that I've known for like 15 years.
yeah.
And I haven't known anyone in real life or stayed friends with anyone in real life for that long. It's just the way the internet is sometimes.
True.
I don't like people, so.
I'm right there with you.
Understatement.
And yet, within a few hours of meeting me, you declared your undying love for me.
Yeah, the thing
Come on.
the thing
Not
about
the
this
accent.
the thing about this community is Sunny generally does not like other girls. She's like most small dogs. She does not like other dogs. So, numerous times,
Chihuahua.
yeah, numerous times our members have brought in um, either relatives that are female, and they would
They've all
just
gone mysteriously missing.
they would go missing, and no one would notice, I mean, maybe the other
Odor,
person might,
gone, fade
but
away.
they would they wouldn't be here anymore, and none of us would really catch it. And then next thing you know, Rini comes in from uh, another server, and I was like, babe, you need to come and actually talk to this person, because that was like the whole thing. It's like I have to know these people, otherwise they're getting the boot. And with a moment of listening to Rini talk, she's like, she has an accent. I love her.
So easy to please. Honestly, I've spent months trying to please people. I never know. I just had to open my mouth.
As Ithu would put it, I'm easy.
Yeah. Oh man.
He really would, though, and you know it.
Mhm.
Yep.
She's chuckling because she know.
It's funny. he would say that, but like in real life, like he was so particular. um, an interesting fun fact of real life with you is that he had like he was like, I guess what they call like a super taster. Like, so if you like, like normal people like require a little bit of spice or something like that to kind of bring the flavors out or whatnot. Like that would be completely overwhelming to him. Like he could taste things really clearly and really strongly without anything extra. So, he was always, he would say like, oh yeah, don't worry, I'm easy, blah, blah, blah. But like, oh my gosh, doing shopping for him and things like that was like, oh my God, not get this, not that. I didn't like the thing that you got for me last time. Like, well, bitch, get out the house, do it yourself. So, but it was, stuff with love. but yeah, it was that funny dichotomy of like being, like being laid back and being incredibly particular, like that Sheldonism almost, where you're just got to be just so, otherwise, well, you screwed it up, you fix it, do better next time. Like, this is a favor on the grand scale of things, right?
But he loved his Mountain Dew and cigarettes.
Yes, he did.
Well, that must be why it was Diet Mountain Dew. It probably had a different taste.
When you smoke for so long, your taste buds change so much. They really do.
If I made steak and I gave him, because he loves like steak and potatoes and things like that, real real basic, stuff. But like I would do up my steak. I put like Montreal seasoning on it and maybe some blue cheese crumbles and the whole bit. And he was just looking like, that's just disgusting. He's like, could you just? He's like, could you just put like salt and pepper maybe on mine, and just like didn't want anything else, no seasoning, no nothing, just wanted it all plain all the time. Like,
See,
right.
I knew that there was something I could pull from Ithu that was a good quality, and that's it right there. I'm a sea salt, cracked black pepper, a little dusting of garlic powder, and that's it. That's all you need. No sauce, medium rare, good to go.
I've been cooking.
Yeah, no, he wouldn't do medium rare, like, because, he would always peek over, because I like it like medium rare, like, he would always come over, he's like, a good vet could save that,
Was he was he one of these ones who would charcoal his meat?
Yes, he would, yeah. He would have something on, like, put that back on there, put that back, that's not done
You
yet.
know what? I think there was a moment where he mentioned that he prefers his steak, regardless of the cut, that he liked it like that, well done. And one of us had made a comment that, it's like, so you like to eat leather? And he was like, man, if it's not, you know, God, I can't remember what he said. It was along the lines of, if I can't chew on it for an hour, it's not good.
It's like jerky.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would always just come over, like, because, like, forget the fact that I am making you a steak, but he would just come over and just shake his head and then just, like, mock my food. Just like, God, I don't know how to eat it. That is so gross. I'm like, I'm getting ready to eat it. Thank you. If you could not, critique my food right now, that'd be great.
He loved your cookies. I remember him talking about your
Oh
cookies.
my God. I made him, God, what was it? Peanut butter cookies once. And I am not a baker, but I found this recipe online. And he's like, could you make those again?
Yeah, he was talking about how like they'd been left out for so long, and he came
And they were
over
still
and like
soft.
ate them. Yeah.
Yeah, he'll do that. Like, if I have food in our house, because we keep separate pantries, for lack of a better word. I buy my food, he buys his and stuff. So, but if he comes over, he sees something out, like he'll give it like a day, maybe two tops. But if it's still there by like day 2.5, 3, he's like, all right, I'm taking this. So, it becomes fair game. Well, this really has been wonderful. I mean, yeah, this at some point I should probably wrap up. We got to have to leave from around 3:30 in the morning to go catch a plane. I gotta go to Denver for the weekend. So we're not even sleeping tonight. We're gonna just go drive to Tampa and get on the plane in a few hours.
Yeah, yeah, it was definitely good to meet you. Um, and I know that there was more than probably two of us at any given time that was just probably like, damn it, why does this gotta be so sad? And then someone would always be there, just like, all right, time for a joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
like,
I'm glad, like you said,
what?
that us coming together online and having words, helps you out.
It really
Yeah.
does.
Yeah, and
It means a lot, and it actually helps put things into perspective of how how he lived and what his life was really like. Because it's funny, we were in closest proximity to it, but we never saw it. Like we didn't get to see him the way that you guys saw it.
yeah, and like I said, you'll have access to hear to this community here on out. So as
Thank you.
things come in, um, you'll be able to know and share it with the rest of your family and so on and so forth. Um, and whatever's coming in from other places, I'm sure if Nemesis sees anything, he can bring it over, and uh, Rini can probably bring in from other places, and just as it comes in, we'll
Yeah,
definitely get it posted in.
we're always going to be interested in yeah, and knowing and hearing the stories and the memories and stuff. So yeah, anything anyone wants to share, we're always grateful for.
Absolutely. Um, God, usually I always got something to say, but I really don't.
I'm
Makes an
back.
interesting change.
Yeah, I mean, God, most of the time everyone can't get me to shut the hell up. Now I'm just kind of like, damn it, man. Um,
Too many thoughts, right?
yeah,
It's funny because Aether just told me to shut up.
yeah. She went. Yeah, Sunny departed us for a moment to go yell at Aether, um, and now she's back. And since he's not back either, I guess it was a failed attempt, but that's all right.
Oh, fucking! I got caught up because Risky's chair moved, and if anybody knows Risky, knows that that chair is really fucking loud. And Aether's like, of all the things you fucking moved, you had to move the fucking chair. Risky starts moving the chair even more. So I ended up just leaving it. There was no hope.
Our motley crew. um,
Yeah. I have to say, like, you don't know what to expect, when you're coming into these types of things. And, I honestly thought it was going to be, kind of a sad affair. And I mean, and obviously it is to a certain degree, but like, this has really been fun. I mean, for lack of a better word, like, it's, great laughs and great stories. And I mean, obviously there'll be moments where it's bad. But
We
it's
wanted
good.
to lift your spirits a little bit.
I think we all needed a little lifting.
Hurrah.
And at that moment, as I'm thinking about the hell that just came out of my mouth, I can immediately hear Ithu saying, "Really? Did you really just say that we all needed some lifting?" Like,
Jeez.
yeah, hold on one second. Let me put my foot in my mouth. Yeah.
Um, I would also like to put forward an open invite to access to my server. Anyone's welcome to it.
Which one was that one?
Thank you.
That was
Cheetah
Oddfox.
Plains. Yes.
I left that yesterday.
Yeah, the one I pulled you to.
The
Um,
desert.
I need another invite. I
Yeah.
think I left it. No offense. I forgot.
So I will
I'm
just.
like, what the hell is this cheetah print icon in my thing?
That's it. Yeah.
I was like, what
Um,
is this?
I thought it was a cookie at first.
Where can I post the link if anyone would like that? I mean, I can send the link to individual members of anyone that would like it, or I can leave an open invite. Either way.
I don't know. You gotta ask Dizzler and Gina that one. I am literally only an admin. Well, I don't even know why I'm an admin. I don't show up
Well,
to any of the meetings either.
Anyone's welcome though, so if they want to invite, just let me know.
Oh, thank you.
I think he's thinking.
Thought I smelled something burning.
Yeah.
Channeling that inner Ithu right there.
I hoped we did help you out, Jennifer. I really did.
Oh, this is great. Yeah, this is actually it's been.
I hope you can lift your mom's spirits with it a little bit.
No, I think it'd be good. She's a tough cookie. Like I said, she's been taking this incredibly well. I mean, I don't like I said, I don't see her all the time because she lives like an hour or so away from me, so I don't see her often. But I see her a couple times a week, and she's got her circle of bingo buddies that have been her support group and stuff that have
My
helped
mom
her.
lives across the street, and you see your mom more than I see mom.
You've heard of the movie Ocean's 11. This is Ithu's 11 right here.
I like that. That's awesome.
Ithu was an awesome dude.
Yeah, he was a good guy.
Did Gina leave? Yes.
Yeah.
He might have fell asleep on his computer.
It's very possible.
He
No.
does that.
No, he actually logged out. He may be going to
He
bed.
probably fell asleep and then woke up and went, oh crap. That's some Gino for you.
There was actually somebody. It was Griff actually who always yelled at. Because Griff would constantly. He had some weird chemical imbalance, and he was always falling asleep.
Narcolepsy.
Yeah.
God, Griff would be like passed out on his couch and be in Discord on his phone, and then like somebody would pop in and his girlfriend's like in the background yelling at her TV. And I'd be like, oh God, and then log out real quick.
Yeah, Griff has an early shift.
Nagino actually just
so
messaged
he's
me.
in bed right now. But yeah, Griff's told me beforehand about Ithu chasing after them in Space Engineers because Griff fell asleep on the ship while he was flying it, and they were trying to catch up.
Oh, I can see that.
He'd be like, you butthead, wake up, you butthead, wake up, shouting over Discord.
Dizzle always falls asleep in his damn chair.
It is a comfy ass chair. All I gotta do is set it to lean back a little bit, and it's like that perfect height for me where I can just pull my head back just a little bit, and it's got a little, like, it doesn't even have a pillow, but it feels like a pillow, and it's so comfortable. And if I got a blanket over me, I'm done.
I got a chair like that too.
But yeah,
I stuck him under the vent.
but before we really come to a close and everyone starts leaving, for those of y'all who came from other servers, if y'all do want to stay, I just opened up a channel for you guys up towards the top.
I'll probably stick around.
It's called Decision is Yours. Just follow the instructions.
He made it so formal.
I did. I've got nothing better else to do on my days off.
This approach for like 4 days.
Yeah.
Police day.
So if you want to stay, click the check mark. If you don't, click the X. Don't click them both, because it'll be the X.
It'll boot you out.
Yeah, basically it'll boot you out. And yeah.
Like I said, he made it very formal.
At which
now,
either,
Fox, do not click on that X yourself.
I mean, Fox can't.
Click on the X. All right, got it.
Oh
now,
man!
before I click on the check mark, I'm a full-time coder slash pizza slinger, so I'm extremely busy. So 9 times out of
Oh,
10, I'm mostly idle. So
Everybody
you're
here
fine.
has like something to do.
By the way, Nagino did message me. He just came back. He didn't fall asleep and wake up and realize it and log out. His computer actually rebooted.
ouch.
Oh, Nagino.
If Ithu was here, he'd talk mad crap about you, Nagino. You know it.
Like, are you left in the middle of my remembrance?
God, he'd be all like, "Geez, man, it's coming to the end, and you couldn't even stick around for it."
What time is
Yep.
your flight to Dallas?
So I think everybody that wants to stick around, were they being given community member or like whatever games they play?
Initially, it's they're just becoming a more pretty version of the Here for Ithu, and we'll be doing a vetting process. Um, it'll probably be either me, Nagino, or it'll be like two or more admins. Will vet everybody in. Probably talk to you guys one by one and go from there. And you'll be probably given either honorable guess or FNG. I guess we can bounce it off of how many channels do you want to look at? Because we've organized a good bit, and there's a shit ton of channels, but it's all about what you're really wanting to look at and stuff. But yeah, if you want to get that information out to the other guys, I know Griff wasn't able to be here. If you want to let him know, and the the sim guy, I'm not sure which he came from. I think he might have came over from Cheetah. And
Sim, I told Sim.
okay, and then you got Charlotte Reaver, who may or may not want to stick around. Um, but everyone else in here, just check out that Decision Is Yours channel up towards the top. Read it, I guess carefully if you really want. And then just definitely follow the last 3 lines of that text, and you should be good to go. But other than that, I guess we got our happy sad in for one evening.
Yeah.
Jennifer, is there anything else you want to say, or?
Yeah, I'm good. This has been great. If anyone, like I said, thinks of anything else that they would, ever want to chat about, or if you all are interested and I get more information about how he passed, I can certainly share that and pass that on.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. So as more information comes in, but yeah, this is, like I said, I can't tell you guys how much this has meant. This just really, putting things in perspective and just putting things in a much better, light, so because there was just a lot of sadness and, a lot of, just, just questioning of like, yeah, how people live and, and how, and yeah. And just goes to show you can have a pretty amazing, fulfilling life in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, for all mankind, we are not a brand, we are a family, and we are more than happy to have you a part of it now.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. I have to learn how to do the things now.
I mean,
I
hey,
get to do
there's
the things.
what I can honestly tell you, if you have any problem, with anything, one of these assholes in here will be able to help you.
All right.
Hey, if you want to get into Stardew, or we can play some Plants vs Zombies, I got you.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I got pissed off at the game one day and I ended up deleting most of it, but I've been lately to really but I've been feeding it lately, man. I was like, no more. I spent too much time on this.
Spent too much time, spent too much money. Can't do
Right.
it anymore.
And yeah, and where we live,
network.
where we live, we have AT&T, so it's not even the best internet. I mean, we're kind of out in what would be considered like I lovingly call it country with a K, and
Okay.
so it's not great
You
internet
called
and
it
stuff.
BFE.
Yeah, it's pretty much BFE, right? And so it's one of those things that like it spawns hatred and trust issues throughout the house as well because like if it starts lagging out, like who's on the internet? Like I'm trying to play. Are you watching a video? So it's really just becomes a toxic environment sometimes.
Me and Dizzle have good internet, and even still, his computer draws so much of it. Like, I'll be doing something, and I'll start lagging. I'll be like, "Are you downloading something?"
Right?
Yeah.
There's no trust.
Stop. And he goes,
Exactly.
"But I need to stop."
It sounds like you're barely better than dial-up.
Yeah, it's like that. If I get double
I need to
digits,
use
I'm
the
excited.
phone.
Yes, exactly.
Our
It's like that. I've shut off the Wi-Fi before because I'm connected via Ethernet. I'm like, suckers! Everyone's off except for Scott. You know.
Well,
yeah,
is
it's
everybody here for the most part wanting to stick around?
I mean, I am.
yeah. I've got it's showing Odd Fox and Rini have followed the instructions to a T.
All right.
And
What
there's
I don't know.
instructions? I didn't read any
Yeah.
instructions.
She just pressed the button to see what happened. That's Rini for you though.
Glad it didn't explode in my
What
face.
does this do?
Well, since everybody wants to stick around, I guess Dizzle will handle that. I won't. So I'm a horrible admin. I will literally log off and be gone for like a week straight and then be like, I'll come back to society. Wonder what everybody's doing. And then log back out.
I'm no one to disappear for weeks at a time.
And I always
Yeah,
gotta
it's
go
fun.
check on something.
Telling us.
Yeah.
Fox holds the cake. He disappeared for a year and then came back. He literally said, I'm gonna go check on something and didn't come back for a year and a half. Okay?
That's funny. That's good.
It's not a joke. It's complete.
No, that's good.
Well, the thing is when he goes to check on something, it's usually to go poop. So to put that in perspective, he went to go poop
No,
and it took
I
him a
did
year
not
to come
poop for
back.
a whole year.
To be fair, we know him in real life. We're friends on Facebook, so we knew he was alright at least.
Yeah,
We know where he works.
me and Fox used to be roommates, and even then, we'd be in the middle of a damn competitive CS:GO match, and he'd just be like, "Damn it, I gotta go check on something," and then you'd hear like the bathroom door close. They were like, and I'd be sitting there like, "Fox, you need us to call a timeout?" Yeah, okay. All right, Fox, you got about 5 seconds. Like, I'm gonna need more than that.
Oh man, all this talking made my mouth hurt. I regret my life decisions today.
Oh man.
Well,
Well,
this has been amazing, but I'm gonna have to duck off because I have to pack. I haven't even put the first thing in the suitcase. So.
Oh no, you're fine.
I'm
But
gonna yell
just
back at Aether anyway.
but
Sonny, I got your message, and I'll seek you out on the other.
Okay.
but just let you know, I'll send you a link to this broadcast for where we did pick up on.
Oh yes, that'd be awesome. Yes.
At 1 hour and 40 minutes, I've you'll see my well, me and Sonny's little post into the memory thing where it was too big. There's too many characters in it, so it wouldn't show up as it normally should. But I put it up nice and big up on the screen, so it's
Did you delete the
readable.
first part of mine?
No, I didn't.
I was under the impression I wasn't gonna really speak tonight, so I put at the beginning that Dizzle's gonna be talking on behalf of. So.
You did more talking than I did.
Really?
That was because I got those pills, which were.
Oh my god. But yeah, for a few moments, both of ours will be seen at the about 1 hour 40 minute mark, and constantly scrolling through different sections of the memorial and his Steam page. So all of it's kind of showcased in a sense.
Very nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, you go get packed, and
Yeah.
we'll talk to you later.
Sounds good. Thank you all so much. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely, it was
Good
our
luck,
honor.
friend.
Safe travels.
Take care.
I appreciate it. Thank you.